What's up, everyone? It's the Interview Queen Alicia Toot here, and be sure to watch True Heel Heat.
What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat. What's up? True Heel Heat. All hands on
Alright, ready when you are.
Hey guys, I may have go away heat, but these guys have true heel heat. So you better listen to the podcast or else I'm gonna kick you in your fucking cock and balls.
I'll get it.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 18 review, discussing the big Tokyo Dome show from 2024, the 18th edition of Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest event of New Japan Pro Wrestling's year, and we are here to discuss it all. And when we discuss New Japan Pro Wrestling, I am always joined by my esteemed colleague. You go to him for your movie reviews over on his podcast, and he's always here for the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's your boy, J News.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. God damn it, I'm tired. But anyways, it's been a rough couple of days. Man, can I say this? A lot of the time, the last couple of years with Wrestle Kingdom, we've gotten a couple of surprises, and I can appreciate the surprises, right? But then, you got to stay up for New Year's Dash. SP3, how was it to stay up for that event?
I didn't stay up.
You didn't stay up.
I want to specify that. Went to sleep around 11 p.m., got my 5-hour nap in, woke up for New Year's Dash, and I'm glad I woke up because it was noteworthy. That's for damn sure. Matt Riddle is now in New Japan Pro Wrestling, a decision that polarizing would be the best description of it, from what I've seen online.
Yes.
You also got big matches being named for Battle in the Valley with Shingo Takagi versus John Moxley. No disqualification. The main event of Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay announcing his final NJPW matchup will be on February 11th at New Beginning. In the first time in nearly 20 years, New Japan Pro Wrestling will have a steel cage match, 5-on-5 steel cage warfare of United Empire versus Bullet Club War Dogs, who had a crazy brawl on that show. And we also got teases of Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson 2, as well as TMDK going for the never openweight 6-man tag team titles. So yes, noteworthy to say the least, New Year's Day.
Can't forget about Gabe Kidd throwing down that challenge to Eddie Kingston for that Battle in the Valley. That boy's on something, son. He's on something. Wore the crimson mask, cursed up a storm during his promo, but at the end of the day, got across. Oh man, gotta love it. Yeah, man. Let's get this underway, man. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to tap into. Yeah.
We
New Japan Pro Wrestling's
appreciate.
off to a hot start.
Yes, New Japan is cooking again. Gato's in the kitchen. He's cooking again. I'm glad to see it. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Show that appreciation back by the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you in the live chat, so we'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous and you want to make sure we highlight your comment on screen, you want to hear our thoughts, you got a question for us, you can send a super chat donation. That is so important to what we do here. We are a self-funded channel, so every little bit matters, it counts, and it goes back to all the contributors that you see on screen. So we always appreciate that. We got a couple of people already in the chat with us. Dolores, as always, proper and early in the chat, saying join True Hill Heat Patreon. Best money you will spend for sure. She also says New Year's Dash was good. It definitely was. We got Frantic World in the chat saying what's up, SP3 J News in chat. I am watching the New Year's Dash show now. See, you get there. You go. We got Big Man Dog saying that's pretty crazy. I remember people seeing people post about NJPW doing a cage match a few weeks ago. No, they did a coffin match. They did a coffin match a few weeks ago. The C's are very confusing, sir. It's understandable. But yes, let's get into Wrestle Kingdom 18 from the Tokyo Dome. More than 27,000 people in attendance in the Tokyo Dome, up from last year's attendance. So you always love to see that. And of course, the show kicked off with the New Japan Rambo over on the pre-show, starting at 1:30 a.m. Eastern time. The Rambo, you had a bunch of guys who were very prominent throughout the year for New Japan Pro Wrestling featured in this one, from the guys in United Empire, Hanare, Jeff Cobb, and Great Okan. You had Tomohiro Ishii in this one. Tai Chi was here. You had the return of Hayato coming in here, making his presence known after the All-Star Junior Festival from Michinoku Pro. He was featured in this one. We saw the return of Azuki with the metal fingers, the iron fingers, showing off, fingering people in the throat. Very good time. And then it all came down to our final four in the matchup. You had in the Rambo, you had Yo was appearances known, and he made it to the final four. Last eliminating show, you had Great Okan in there, Taiji Ishimori, and of course Tori Yano. So the final four for New Year's Dash was those four. And then this morning we had the four-way matchup, which all of a sudden became a scramble match, a 10-minute scramble match where you had to score. You could score as many pinfalls in the 10 minutes as you want, but the person with the final pinfall would become the King of Pro Wrestling champion. And it was none other than Taiji Ishimori who pulled off the win, avoiding Great Okan from getting a victory right before the buzzard. So Taiji Ishimori, our new KOPW champion. But what did you think about the Rambo on Wrestle Kingdom?
Much like I said during our watch along, the Rambo was the Rambo. At the end of the day, it got good brothers paid, and guys got their time. We got a couple of surprises here. I was even taken aback by seeing Hayato in there. I was like, what's going on here? I was like, okay, cool. At the end of the day, it served its purpose. We got down to the final four, and then obviously they paid it off at New Year's Dash. Was not expecting Taiji Ishimori to be the new KOPW champion.
No, I think we were very adamant that we thought Great Okan was the one who needed it, and thought that he would firmly win, but we were wrong. As per usual.
It is what it is at the end of the day, but I wonder what he'll do with it necessarily. So we'll see.
Next up, we go to the main card, and the main card kicked off with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships up for grabs as the Bullet Club War Dogs, Drilla Maloney, and Clark Connors defended against Catch 22, Francisco Akira, And TJP, who was put in the coffin during the coffin match in Kurgan Hall on the road to the Tokyo Dome. He hadn't been seen for the last 2 weeks since, did not even appear at the press conference the night prior, and then he shows up as Filipino Fiend. Filipino Fiend. This mask was scary as hell. The entrance, he came out of the coffin. He had like Edward Scissorhand mutant hands and stuff like that. Had the whole Filipino outfit going on. It was a very kind of ominous presence by TJP with this new attire here. And he was dressed as an asawa, which is a Filipino cryptid. But this match was very fast-paced still, even though it felt like the crowd didn't really know how to respond to the new TJP character. It was very unique. The Bullet Club War Dogs wearing the all-white should have been a sign that they were going to lose with their all-new all-white straps, but they looked good here, getting some offense even on TJP, taking him out of play for a bit, isolating Akira for a good portion of this matchup before TJP was able to free them up. The War Dogs bounced back with a little spear, high-low combination. They hit TJP with the Driller Killer, but TJ broke the count by grabbing the hand of the referee like he was the damn Undertaker. He then gets up, he bites Maloney, then sprays him in the face with the miss a la Muta. Then they take out Clark Connors. They hit Maloney with the 2-2, the knees. 1, 2, 3. TJP and Francisco Akira catch 2-2 are now three-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. I gave this match 3.5 stars. Uncle Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter also gave the match 3.5 stars. What did you think about this one?
No, it was cool, man. I thought the TJP's entrance as Aswang was pretty cool, was pretty dope. I was like, this is different. Because a lot of the time they get creative with their ring jackets or their attire and stuff like that. But he came out with a whole new persona and stuff like that, which I can appreciate. So that was pretty cool. And the match lived up to what I thought it was going to be at the end of the day. It was very fast paced, good back and forth, and it didn't go past the 15-minute mark. So at the end of the day, that's the New Japan. That's the New Japan way when it comes to these Super Junior the singles matches and the tag matches at that. But glad Catch 2-2 regained those tag team titles. Now the Junior War Dogs can go ahead and either do something else or keep feuding or whatever they're going to do at this point. I think what they're going to concentrate on until February at least is going to be this whole War in the Cage thing with the Undisputed Empire. So it gives them good credence to have the anger and the angst to go forward. So.
Yeah, they have more of a reason than almost anybody in Bullet Club War Dogs to be upset with United Empire currently. So it is very interesting that everything played out the way it did at New Year's Dash, kind of continuing this rivalry that really started ever since last spring when Drilla Maloney turned on the Bullet Club turned on United Empire. So
yeah,
I like it a lot. But we're gonna see how that transpires coming up on February 11th in the 5-on-5 steel cage warfare. But we got a couple of comments to highlight here. Keep coming with those comments. Remember, those super chat donations always help out, guys. We got Big Man Dog says, no, I meant fans saying they'd like to see a cage match. Oh, okay. Yeah, because the way you worded it before, you said New Japan doing a cage match a few weeks ago. I was like, no. We got RPGs saying, morning, guys. We live in weird times now. Indeed. A lot of decisions. The decisions were made. We got Stu Sage in the chat. Thanks for joining us. He says, woke up late and missed the opening match, then read about Riddle. Mad times. What's your thoughts on Matt Riddle in New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Look, man, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to sit here and say as much news as I take in, I don't know everything. So I'm not necessarily keen on what all the hate towards Matt Riddle is about, per se. I have always been a fan of his in ring. I don't know him as a person, so I can't say this, that, or the third about what he's done or what he hasn't done and shit like that. It's Japan. It works the same with baseball. if you're a freaking felon here, you go to Japan, you still get paid, and you play. So it works the same way with wrestling at the end of the day. So if the dude seems to be off-putting here in the US, Japanese, Koreans, they'll give you a shot at the end of the day. So that's just the way it works. So regardless of the fact of how much of cancel culture we believe in and things of that nature, he's still a pretty good in-ring performer. So at the end of the day, Gato, whoever thought this was a feasible idea, they brought it forward, and he's going to face Tanahashi for the TV title. He won't win, obviously. So at the end of the day, it's just a different match for Tana to have against a different competitor he's never faced. That's really what I take it as at this point.
I mean, Matt Riddle has made some very bad decisions. If this was a decision made by New Japan Pro Wrestling 5 years ago, I would be ecstatic. I would be like, oh, this is awesome. Matt Riddle, guy from the independents, great stuff. Yeah, in New Japan, that makes a lot of sense. But after his WWE stint, after his involvement in the speaking out movement and the allegations against him, his treatment of his wife and his kids, his whole antics on social media, yeah, I understand I understand not knowing, but all I will say is that do your due diligence.
That's the thing. I've always said this. I don't spend my time on freaking Twitter and shit like that, and I don't read the dirt sheets, and I don't do any of that. I enjoy wrestling for face value. What these guys do on their personal time, it is what it is. At the end of the day, if it's negative, hey, that's what it is. But for me, I don't know what the fuck's going on, so sorry, guys.
We also got Nikki Boy, who says Catch 2-2 are one of the best junior tag teams New Japan ever had. They've been really a stabling force ever since like the breakup of Roppongi 3K and the Young Bucks leaving the junior heavyweight division. They needed a team like this. But reason we brought up Matt Riddle right then and there is because the person he will possibly face in his debut was up next, as we had the NJPW World Television Championship up for grabs. Zack Sabre Jr. defending against Hiroshi Tanahashi. And surprisingly, this was almost as fast-paced or more fast-paced than the opening contest. We get some grappling early on between the two guys, but Tanahashi answers with two quick twists and shouts. He hits the sling blade, he hits the crossbody, he goes for a high fly flow, but Sabre blocks with the knees. He transitions into a bridging pin that nearly won him the matchup. Tanahashi rebounded back with the dragon screw. He goes for the Texas Cloverleaf, but Zack catches him and takes control of the arm into an armbar. We get kind of reversals back and forth between armbar and the Texas Cloverleaf. We get Zack going after the neck with a neck crank. The pair trade trap pins for a little bit after a strike exchange. One ZSJ escapes. He secures a sleeper at another point. He transitions the sleeper into an octopus hold. ZSJ then stuffs the he gets stuffed with this dragon screw. This opens up the two neck cranks and a penalty kick. ZSJ attempts to follow up with the Zack's driver, but Tanahashi rolls him up into a quick pin. Then we get pinning combinations back and forth. We get 2 counts, 2 count, 2 count, 1 count, 1 count, 1 count, 2 count. Then Tanahashi reverses that pin into this pin. 1, 2, 3, 8.5 minutes. Just totally busting what we usually expect from an NJPW World Television Championship, a fast-paced technical wrestling clinic that Hiroshi Tanahashi, President Ace, is now President TV Champion, as Hiroshi Tanahashi becomes only the second NJPW World Television Champion, ending the historic 1-year reign of Zack Sabre Jr. on his 17th defense, 16 successful defenses, the most prolific and winningest NJPW champion of the past decade. Zack Sabre Jr. uncrowned by President Ace here. Very surprising result before we had our preview, where kind of Walker kind of laid it out for us and even convinced you to pick Tanahashi in our preview. Walker Stewart, the NJPW commentator, who did a great job on this show, by the way. But this match, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I don't think I've ever seen an 8-minute match as good as that. I give it 4 stars.
No, man, it was it was a fun time. It did breeze by the way. I did not expect it to go 8.5 minutes. I was at the end of it all. By the time the show started, I was like, all right, it should be a draw. That's what I said to myself. But then when Tana won, I said to myself, what are they doing? And I was like, with Tana having to be the TV champion, he's going to be on TV all the time. And I was like, he's supposed to be President Ace. What are we doing?
So he's going to be president and champion.
This is the player manager thing that they used to do in baseball and basketball the other day. So,
King Potato says Tana became president and instantly gave himself a title. That's my goat.
Yeah, man. We'll. I mean, hopefully it all goes well. I mean, at the dash, he had a 1-on-1 versus Ryusuke Taguchi, so that went off as his first defense there, and then after Tana won, then the Matt Riddle video played and whatnot, and there was that challenge. So we'll see how it goes, but it was a fun match nonetheless. I enjoyed it. It was interesting. I wanted to see Zach keep on going, but it is what it is.
Same. I can't lie. I wanted the ZSJ reign to continue as well. We got Frantic World in the chat who says Tanahashi is making some good decisions so far in NJPW. He's making some wise decisions. Put the title on me. That makes sense. We got Balabi who says Tada is starting his Muda arc, gonna politic himself to all titles. Stu Shade saying Tada knows he can't go longer than 15 minutes anymore, so make sure he never has to go more than 15 again. There you go.
Damn shame. Damn shame.
Ain't gonna be no time limit draws in this reign. I guarantee that. Next up, you had Uemura going one-on-one with Yota Suji, a battle of two of the young stars of NJPW here. And this one was a really fun one. That was another kind of fast-paced matchup at certain points where we had a lot of quick sequences that the crowd really enjoyed and were vocal for. This match opened with a collar and elbow tie-ups, transitioned into some technical wrestling. Once separated, Uemura tried to run at Suji, but Suji caught him with a sudden spine buster and then hits that big tope to the floor. Back in the ring, Suji scores with a near fall after the electric chair drop. We get Suji maintaining his control until Uemura lands an arm drag and a drop kick. A backdrop allows Uemura to climb to the top, but he missed the crossbody, leaving Suji free to hit Uemura with a big backbreaker, retaking control. Suji attempts a Dream Blaster, but Uemura reversed into an arm drag again. Suji transitioned into a pinning combination, and followed up with a big old curb stomping Uemura's head into the ground, but Uemura kicks out of that as well. Uemura avoids a second curb stomp and lands a big suplex for a near fall. Uemura didn't let this opportunity pass. He immediately grabs the arm, grabs the other arm, hits the deadbolt suplex. 1, 2, 3, an upset win here of sorts as Uemura defeats Yota Suji here. This one also got a pretty good amount of time, going just over 13 minutes, and I really enjoyed this one as well. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. What do you think about this one and Uemura picking up the win?
I mean, he needed it.
Yeah.
Uemura needed the win here. He's as you said when we were doing the watch along, he has been the outside man looking in after this whole Rewa 3 Musketeers announcement mid-year last year and things of that nature. We all know Yota Suji's a star. Big Suji's going to do big things. But Uemura should be in the same light. And this, I think, was a good win for him. Only thing I wanted was more time for this match because I thought there could have been much more to do. But, we got a couple decades, these guys coming. So, at the end of the day.
It just went under 11 minutes, actually.
Minutes, right?
So, yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think it was a good start to building their eventual decades-long feud that they'll have. They'll probably switch places. One of them will be a heel at one point, things of that nature. So we'll see it all.
Big Red Dog saying Tanahashi has looked at the numbers and they say it makes sense for him to have all of his titles. It is what it is. King Potato talking about this match, saying this match was gas. Yoda Suji should be NJPW champ this year. He should have been champ last year. Just saying.
We never would have had this match. No.
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
No.
This match was really, really good, but I'm good. We have Angel in the chat. Thanks for joining us again. Saying GSJ gonna do another US run. Nah, he's too important to what they do in Japan and
In Japan right now, yeah.
He's now moved in. He really had cemented his spot as the number 2 gaijin in New Japan Pro Wrestling last year with his TV title reign, and now with the number 1 gaijin moving on to AEW and Will Ospreay, ZSJ should be number 1. So he's already set up a program with one of the top stars of AEW, kind of a crossover type matchup. I don't know when they're going to do that, but we got to wait and see for that one. But I think that ZSJ is going to be in a prominent position in New Japan proper this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
Vala B saying best arm drag since Steamboat. Yeah, there's like shades of Steamboat here. There's also shades of Tanahashi in Uemura.
Very pretty arm drags.
We got Big Man Doug says I gave it 4.25 stars. Wow. He says maybe even 4.5. I thought this match was awesome. I got to give it another look, but I really enjoyed it on my first watch of the matchup. We got Vala B says you had needed this. Glad he got it. Now he's inside. We also got Big Man Dogs who says New Japan is really experts at doing good shorter matches. Yeah, this was one of the better paced shows for New Japan Pro Wrestling or Wrestle Kingdom shows in general. I thought these couple of matches, the first 3 matches, were perfectly timed and were all kind of hit what they needed to hit.
Because they're good at in-ring storytelling, and they understand what sense of urgency feels like. So not everything has to be a slow, drawn out, plotting process where everybody's feeding half the goddamn time. Like, no, we can take time and tell a fucking story and build it to go to later. At the end of the day, shit. Sorry.
And just to mention, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter gave both ZSJ versus Tada and Uemura versus Suji 4 stars.
Yeah,
so
nice.
So everyone's aware of the Meltzer ratings as well that came out this morning. All right, next up. Oh man, I legitimately, I won't even lie to y'all. I legitimately did not even upload the pictures for this matchup because I didn't even want to talk about it. So I'm gonna upload the pictures right now and we can talk about it very quickly. It was the 4th match on the card. House of Torture, Evil, and Ren Narita going one-on-one with Shoto Amino and Kaito Kiyomiya. Although my interest in this matchup was very lower than anything else on this show, there was some good things about this. Much of the match was kind of enjoyable. Amino looks like an absolute star, even in a tag team setting like this, and it just feels like I think even Jay News said it during our matchup. This was a match that should have probably been a singles match between Shoto Amino and Ren Narita. And we saw that at times when Amino was working. But we also got to see Kaito Kiyomiya, who's also very great. Love to see him. And this was on, I would say, the slightly better than average for House of Torture side, which means a ceiling of 2 3/4 stars. And that's what I gave this matchup. Ren Narita hits Shoto Amino with a big kind of like weight bell, a push-up bar. Then he hits X Factor. Yes, the Bella Buster to pick up the win. House of Torture standing tall. Hooray. This match went just over 7 minutes. I gave it 2 3/4 stars.
They did exactly what I didn't want them to do. They clowned him out. They gave him a weapon, just like they did Show, and then they gave him no disrespect to X-Pac, none. At the end of the day, a face buster, really, for Ren Narita,
the Bella Buster. I Scott E said that on the Fightful review, and I've just been I should call it the Bella Buster. It's the Bella Buster. It's not even the X Factor. It's the Bella Buster.
I was expecting some sort of like a submission hold or something like that, or like Maybe some sort of a twist on a Northern Light suplex or something. I don't know. But freaking Bella, but what are we doing? What are we doing, man? Like, I understand Japanese sensibilities are different than American sensibilities. I get all that. But it's like, what was this? You did nothing for me. They did nothing for Ren Narita here. It was just more like I lost even more faith in what they were doing with it here. Oh my God. Anyways,
RPGs is saying also no multi-man tag on Wrestle Kingdom, thank God. Honestly, I felt like this match should have either been Narita versus Shooter or should have been a big multi-man matchup of House of Torture versus like the baby faces they've been feuding with.
Right.
Give me Kaito, give me someone from Noah. I was like, throw Great Muta. Great Muta done broke enough retirements. Have him come in. He'll team up with them. Rohei Uyoa, Shoto Amino against House of Torture. That would have been better off. You saw the reaction that the Noah multi-man of Team Noah versus House of Torture got. It got a bigger reaction than this matchup.
Yeah, I just, it is what it. I ain't got nothing. I got nothing.
Angel saying it looked like they were building a ZSJ versus Samoa Joe, TV versus TV on ROH. Sad that didn't happen. I think we all were sad. Everyone that was watching ROH at that time and heard Zack Sabre Jr. refer to Samoa Joe as Samoan Joseph. That was it. That's all we needed. That's all we needed. And we were like, yeah, we want that matchup. Give me that match. We got Vala B saying Ren hit an X Factor. That's all I remember.
It's a tough way to be, man. It's a tough way to be.
Yes. It's House of Torture. Why do they keep doing this to us, J News? Please explain this to me.
I mean, the Vala B has a point that, like I said, the Japanese crowd eats it up, right? It's their version of heel heat. I just, I don't know. Everyone's sense of humor or sense of what is. I
just wish that they had it in-ring style outside of cheating.
I agree because it just feels overbooked half the time, which is really more or less the problem, right? It's not necessarily the characters; it's just how overbooked the matches are. So it's like, can we stop using the weapons at this point? Can we do something else? It's just like, I don't know.
And it's almost like, we start complaining about House of Torture and its number one fan then appears backstage. Joining us now, all the way from the UK, our esteemed colleague, the third member of our New Japan team, it is Sonal. What's going on?
I heard in the atmosphere, I was like, they're talking about House of Torture. I need to protect them, and here I am.
Here you are to protect House of Torture. Now protect them. Defend this matchup with Ren Narita and Evil versus Kaito Kiyomiya and Shota Umino. The worst match on this show.
Shall I say the highlight? Shota Umino's entrance.
That was great with the motorcycle.
Yeah. You've got to admit that. The rest of it, I can't defend it. I love Shota. I love Kaito Kiyomiya, but why?
I much have rather them just do Shota Umino versus Kaito Kiyomiya.
Yeah. For like a spotlight match or something like that. Yeah, that would have worked.
Just like in the pre-show things, they could have been like, we want a match at Wrestle Kingdom, and then Tanahashi comes with all of his wisdom and goes, you want a match? Well, face each other.
It's awful. Just so bad. Vala B says, okay, I'll say it again. Stop pitching ideas for House of Torture. They work in Japan. They just work. Yeah, I get it. They're booed in Japan. That doesn't mean they work.
Yeah.
I think actually it's got to the point now. The booing is past kayfabe. It's past the character. Japanese fans are generally just sick of these people.
I do. I think it is that too. It used to be that they were playing along when we first came back, and they can cheer again. It was refreshing of the House of Torture, the House of Torture act, and hearing the boos to it. But now the boos have kind of ventured off into, like you said, Sonal. It really feels like they're fed up with it too.
Like contrast to like Finley's boos. Finley's boos felt like, yes, they were deserved. Like he beat well, this is later on, but you know what I mean? He beat Ospreay, he beat Moxley. Like people hated that. But House of Torture just feels like Why are they inserting themselves everywhere? Couldn't they just not do a Yujiro and just stay on the Rambo?
That would have been nice to have all of them in the Rambo, get them out the way real fast and easy. Oh, that would have been great.
You could have had like Kaito Kiyomiya and Shota versus like House of Torture. I don't know, like Jeff Cobb and Hanare.
Could have been that. Could have been that would have worked. We got a Vactic World that says, I don't think the Japanese fans like this match. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
It didn't feel that way. It didn't feel that way, but it is what it is.
Not you know it's bad when not even the future Tanahashi could do anything.
We got Bala B says those crowds eat that House of Torture shit. They always get a reaction. I don't like it. I'm not the target audience for it, but it works for the people there. More to be said after the main event. Yeah, I mean, because they use them in those spots. Anyone would get booed in the spot that they used them in the main event.
To be fair, you could have probably had like I'm trying to think of like you could have, if Ospreay had done it. Ospreay would have got heat for it. It didn't matter who had done that spot. I guess it just made sense because of like Evil, SANADA, Naito.
Yeah, it made sense with that story, even though I'd much rather have had Kenta and Chase Owens.
Yeah, like they would have done Kenta for like the second time. Imagine that.
That would have been great. That would have been a great callback. Oh man, a missed opportunity. We do have a super chat donation from our good friend Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. Always supporting us. He says, "What world does a Bella Buster beat anybody? New Japan Pro Wrestling." Yes, the Bella Buster. We're not calling that the X Factor. Ren Narita cannot do the X Factor. He can only do the Bella Buster.
Like any like.
No, go ahead.
For any like effectiveness, just to push Narita for what he is, they should have given him like a submission finisher or something like that. Like, just doesn't work. The Bella, oh God, that takes you back, doesn't it?
I love it. I love it so much. We got Bala B. Happy to see Sonal is finally here. We also got Big Man Dog saying, you can't have too much go away heat. It's like salt. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. This might be the best comparison that I have seen for Evil. Evil is legit Kevin Sullivan, Dungeon of Doom leader of New Japan Pro Wrestling. He is that. Big Man Dogs. You might have topped some of your great comments previously. That might be your best comparison. Oh my God, you lived through that, J News. You remember those days?
I did live through that. I remember the Taskmaster. Yeah.
Naito over here being Hogan right now, man. Can't get away from these guys. All right, so like I said, a lot of good matches, even some great stuff for 8 minutes like Tanahashi and ZSJ, but this felt like the first genuine great Tokyo Dome matchup. Next, as we had the Never Openweight Championship up for grabs as Shingo Takagi defended against Tama Tonga, and immediately we started off like all Never Openweight Championship matches should start off like. Shoulder blocks right from the start, testing each other's footing. We get Tama is the first to strike, landing a big drop kick. We get a pair of suplex, putting Shingo on the back foot. Shingo's fired back with a shoulder block, a slam, even a freaking Tope Con Halo from Shingo Takagi in this one. We get Tama with a big net breaker to reset things. Then we get a strike exchange. Shingo fights into the corner, landing a big superplex to re-cement his lead. Sliding lariat gets him a 2 count. Tama answers back with the Tama twist a moments later. Then we get the Supreme Flow for a great near fall. Shingo stuffs the gun stun, leading to a back and forth exchange between the two men. Shingo wins that out, landing a big power bomb, and that turning into another near fall. Shingo hits the big pumping bomber before attempting the Made in Japan, but Tama is able to reverse that into a gun stun Tama drops Shingo with the Bloody Sunday, but Shingo kicks out at 1. Tama follows up with the lariat before attempting the DSD, but Shingo escapes. He eats a big forearm. Tama attempts another gun stun, but Shingo hits one of his own. He then hits the pumping bomber and a Made in Japan for a great near fall. Shingo unloads on Tama, dropping him with some strikes before attempting another Last of the Dragon, but Tama frees himself up, hits a Styles Clash. He then tries for another gun stun, hits it. Shingo kicks out, and then finally he picks him up. He hits the OST, the DSD, 1, 2, 3. Tama Tonga is a 4-time never openweight champion in an absolute great match. I gave it 4.25 stars. This felt like the never openweight matches that we have come to expect from New Japan Pro Wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom, living up to the moniker, and arguably, in my opinion, the best singles match I've seen Tama Tonga in, and a example of why Shingo Takagi deserves better in 2024, because this man loses and our new champion then goes backstage and says he's leaving the company. Yes, Tama Tonga announced in his post-show press conference or post-match press conference that he has decided that this is his final month in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he is going to be leaving the promotion to go back to the United States and be closer to his family. But Sonal, what did you think about Tama Tonga versus Shingo Takagi first, before we talk about Tama leaving?
First thing, F you haters, going into this show, everyone was like, we don't need to see Shingo and Tama again. Oh, I don't want to see Shingo and Tama again. And like 2 minutes into the match, I was on social media and everyone was like, oh, I feel bad. I shouldn't have said that. In what world do you ever doubt, like, Tama himself is good, but in what world do you ever doubt that Shingo Takagi will not put on a banger, especially at Wrestle Kingdom? Like, shame on all of you if you ever thought that.
I did, because I saw 27 minutes of them, Sonal, so I was good. I was tapped out. I was like, yep, I'm good.
So at the end of the day, I'll chime in here as well. I sat here and I said the same thing. I spewed that hate, not because Shingo was in the match, but because we got 27 minutes the last time. Then we had that other match the first time. And I said to myself, why do we need the third one? And now Tama wins the belt. SP3 just informed me that he had a backstage comment saying that he's going to leave the company. Now, as per it was said earlier in the chat somewhere, Tanahashi made some choices here during Wrestle Kingdom. So he made some choices. The match was a banger. I was surprised that it was such a banger at the end of the day, because of the fact that this was the third one, and I didn't know if the crowd was going to be into it or if I was going to be into it or not. And I got into it, so it was cool. Shingo did his thing. Tama did his thing. When Tama broke out the Styles Clash, I flipped my shit. At the end of the day, so I said to myself, it's the ode to all the Bullet. Like, in my head, I said to myself, why is he doing an ode to all the Bullet Club leaders? Like, where's he? Like, subconsciously, I was like, is he going somewhere? And I was like, and then SP3 just said, and I was like, oh no.
But all the odes to the old Bullet Club, wherever Tama goes next, please get rid of the gun stun for any attempt of like a finisher, because I just think it's been overplayed. It don't need to see it in the next stage of your career, Tama. You're too talented to keep using that god. And the thing is, how effective has it been in his past single matches? Non-existent. So we don't need it anymore.
Not very. It was effective for him in the G1, but the DSD is kind of like his go-to main finisher. It's like the gun stun has become his pumping bomber.
But he uses that, like, he attempts it like 10 times in a match.
Yeah.
Don't need it. Attempt it twice, maybe. Don't. Like, Shingo doesn't do a pumping bomber like 10 times.
He attempts it like how people describe Kenny Omega attempting the V trigger. People always over exaggerate the amount of times Kenny Omega hits a V trigger, but Tama goes for the gun stun as many times as people think Kenny Omega goes for the V trigger.
So, and within like the first few minutes, he's like, I've got to try and finish him with a gun stun. Like, mate, you're not gonna end Shingo Takagi in 2 minutes with a gun stun.
You know what's gonna happen? Because because Vala B just said something down here. He said he can't do the particular finishes in the Fed or the DSD. You know what they're going to do to Thomason. He's going to be out there. They're going to put him in the tiger stripes, and they're going to have him hit that supreme flow. And they're going to have him be another version of Jimmy Snuka, brother. And that's what I'm saying right now. No, I'm fucking with you. Tama wouldn't go for that. But at the end of the day,
brother.
If Vince McMahon was still in charge, you know that's exactly what they would do to him. Anyways, but at this point, I feel like he's just going to be AJ's going to need new friends from what we've seen on WWE TV. Who better than his former running mate in Tama Tonga?
Oh, please, dear God, do not ruin Tama Tonga's do not ruin Tama Tonga in WWE by pairing him with AJ Styles, because that's the death nail for former Bullet Club member. It's not a death nail, it's just a nail to stay at home and collect the check, which the Good Brothers are perfectly fine with.
That's exactly, that's what it is. But anyways, look, the match was dope. It was good. I had no idea that Tama was leaving. I just found out at the end of the day. So this kind of this kind of makes the match kind of null and void, which is whack. Somebody said it in the chat. I hope he doesn't lose the Evil. Like, that would be like the most horrendous thing.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
yes.
He's losing to Evil. He is so losing to Evil. Like,
he is so losing to Evil. Like, when I saw him in that matchup and I saw the House of Torture was the opponents, I was like, oh no, are they gonna set up Evil as the number one contender?
SP3. We said this on social media. Tama is taking one for the team. He is sacrificing himself, because otherwise, 10 out of 10, we would have had Evil coming out after Naito.
That is true. That is fair.
Take what we get.
You see, Sonal, you always know how to make me look at the glass being half full. We got another super chat donation from our good friend Will Chisholm. Thank you as always, Will, always supporting us in what we do here. He says, would old school NJPW let someone win a title and they know they are leaving the company? SP3, he's coming home. I'm sorry, SP3, I had to say it. Yes, you, Will Chisholm, and Romeo have been out overstaying its welcome with that he's coming home catchphrase for every single free agent report or someone leaving a company that you guys hear.
Christ.
I enjoy the commitment, though. I enjoy the commitment to the
would old school, at the end of the day, they really, from a generational standpoint, it was very few and far in between when Gaijins held titles and stuff. So when they did hold titles, they weren't necessarily going anywhere. They were still free agents. They weren't signing anywhere, things of that nature or whatever. But, you know, there was a respect factor there. So if guys were leaving, they would let them know ahead of time. So in this case, I guess they didn't know. So, you know.
I almost think, like, if Tama wanted to say something, he maybe should have waited. Don't literally do it straight up, because literally you had the match, and then was it 5 minutes after? Then that's when the news came out he was leaving. I was like, hey, you could have waited a week or so. Let us enjoy the match.
You could have said this after you lost to Evil. After you lost to Evil, I would have been okay.
Bye.
Yeah, that would have been fine. But don't tell us you're leaving and then set up a program with Evil.
But
that's a double slap in the face for fans.
But it's a bit almost it's different, but it's a bit similar to the Ospreay thing of he got this title, and then obviously Wrestle Kingdom build up, and then it's but he's going to AEW, and everyone's like, well, that's
but the difference is Ospreay was still able to have a fantastic match.
Right.
We know we're not going to get that with Tama and Evil. We already know we're not you don't have the solace of saying, yeah, I know Ospreay's not going to win this, but the match is going to be great. You don't have that with Evil and Tama. You just know it's going to be a bad time to watch, and it's going to be a bad result.
Well, have they confirmed when this is? Because might have to skip that. Match.
Probably new beginning, if anything. They'll probably announce it tomorrow.
Right. What I also think, though, is if they were going to do something with the Bullet Club angle, have somebody that Tama worked, Kenta, Chase Owens. I know, like, you know, one of the ones that was really close with Tama in Bullet Club to make it more thing. Evil, I'm just like,
Because that's the first person he beat for the Never Openweight Championship, so he's gonna drop the title to the
Evil,
person
isn't
he first beat for the title. I don't know.
drop it to Show. I would have much rather Show, you know?
Well, next up we got our first surprise of the show as the former Dolph Ziggler, Nic Nemeth, alongside AEW's Ryan Nemeth, walked over to the VIP section while cameras was on him, seemingly to watch the upcoming IWGP NJPW Openweight Tag Team Championship matchup. But before we get into that, Sonal, what was your reaction of seeing the Nemeth brothers show up at Wrestle Kingdom?
If anyone follows me on social media, you would have seen I lost my shit. So I have not watched WWE for about 5 years, 6 years, let's say. However, when I did start, one of the first wrestlers that I was drawn to was Dolph Ziggler. Hell, I couldn't attend one of the WWE shows in Manchester, but I made my mum go to the venue and I picked up a Dolph Ziggler shirt, which I still own to this day. So you can imagine, albeit I don't know what he's been doing the past 6 years. I don't know what's going on in his personal life. And like, I think some people were like, so I don't know what he's been doing. But all I can tell you is that when one of your first favorite wrestlers is now in your biggest love, like wrestling company, it's impossible not to lose your shit. I literally was like, I mean, sorry to his brother. I just didn't see the point of that. But when I saw Dolph Ziggler, aka Nic Nemeth, I lost my shit, and I will still need about 7 working days to process it all.
Yeah, I still need like 7 to 10 business days to stop calling him Dolph Ziggler and finally call him Nic Nemeth and not Ryan Nemeth. I've been getting that confused all week. J News, what was your reaction to seeing the former Dolph Ziggler in NJPW?
Interesting, to say the least. That's one of my favorite words in my vocabulary, is interesting, because it can be used for anything at the end of the day. I thought it was interesting. I thought that, him coming out with his brother was more of a sign of them being a tag team, but then that didn't go according to plan. I feel like they called the audible right then and there.
No, I think that they double dipped.
Okay.
I think they teased his first 2 programs here.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. Yeah, that's cool. The David Finlay thing, obviously we'll be talking about this match in a minute.
No, we're just talking about Nic Nemeth arriving at New Japan.
It was cool.
We're not talking about anything he did.
It was cool. It was cool. I thought it was cool. I thought that the promos he had later on in the night were cool. We're
going to talk about all that. I'm just getting your reaction to Nic Nemeth.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool.
New Japan.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
We got a couple of comments in the chat here. We got Big Man Dog says it's still gonna be good, but imagine if Dolph went to New Japan in 2016.
Yeah.
Chilling with Jay saying my prediction: Nemeth gonna be known as the 2024 Comeback Wrestler of the Year.
I think my thing is, so like Dolph Ziggler and Nic Nemeth was amazing in WWE, but it's going to be interesting to see his transition to New Japan, because it's all found well like working one style, and he has been WWE, I guess, basically his whole career.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years. He debuted in WWE in 2005.
So for me, as great as he is, can he now move that? So like even talking about Jay News, his promo, and I know we'll talk about. For me, he still has the aura of a WWE wrestler, and whether it's going to fit perfectly and whether the crowds are going to draw to him similarly how they've done with other wrestlers, I'll have to think about it. Because, yeah, he's an amazing wrestler, but I've only ever seen him do WWE. So it'll be interesting to see if he can adapt his style and, like, who he is.
We shall see, but they were here to watch the winner-take-all title versus title matchup. IWGP Tag Team Champions Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi versus the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions, the Gorillas of Destiny, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo. Bishamon got an early advantage in this one by double teaming ELP. They attempted to do the same to Hikuleo, but the size was just too much for them. G.O.D. established control by using double team moves of their own. Suplex to ELP allowed Bishamon to fight back into this one. We get a Rana from the top rope that sent both members of Bishamon to the floor. Hikuleo furthered this lead for quite some time. A miss from ELP allowed Bishamon another opportunity to gain control. This one just kept going back and forth. Bishamon looked like they were going to put things away, hitting their big double team moves. We get the Shoto for a near fall before Hikuleo breaks it up. We then get a super thunder kiss onto Goto, and he kicks out of that one. Then ELP just goes into overdrive. He takes out Yoshihashi with a tope on the floor. He then hits a CR3, a CR2 power driver, CR3, to take out Goto. Hikuleo climbs to the top, hits a damn splash off the top rope, and the Gorillas of Destiny are your new NJPW Strong Openweight Champion, well, still NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions, as well as new IWGP Tag Team Champions, finally defeating Bishamon here to win all the gold. I gave this match 3.5 stars. Sonal, what did you think?
I think we all knew that after their banger of the World Tag League, this would never have been at that level. Do you know what I mean?
And see, this is the difference between Tama Tonga and Shingo Takagi in this match. These two guys had 2 matches in like a couple of weeks, and the second match was 40 minutes, and I was still like, oh, I'm down for another round at Wrestle Kingdom. But I got 20 minutes of Tama Tonga and Shingo Takagi the first time, 27 minutes the second time. I was like, I'm good. But these guys, they showed out in that 40-minute match, so I was okay with this match being here.
I think, and the thing is, and I keep saying this, and we've obviously spoken to them both like ahead of the match, how much they've improved throughout those. So I remember when I spoke to Hikuleo, and he was like, he has changed so much working with ELP, and he said, oh, there are things I want to bring out in this match that didn't work the first time, and that's similar, like the top rope things, and that's what I love, is that while we all know Bishamon is amazing, and I think, thank God, I think New Japan made the right decision putting it on ELP and Hikuleo. But the main thing is we are seeing them grow and seeing that they are taking this tag team very seriously. Like something simple as in the post-match comments when ELP was like, I'm a better tag wrestler than a singles wrestler. Which, again, I don't think is true because ELP is a phenomenal singles wrestler, so he shouldn't put himself down like that. But to have 2 singles guys who nobody really expected would work together, to have them continue to grow and showing their journey as a tag team, and also like the personal journeys they're both going on, that's what has me invested in, like you said, compared to Shingo and Tama, why I was fine having a third match literally within like less than a month, I guess.
Yeah, 3 matches in a month. That's what they had, and this was a good one. Not as good as their World Tag League matchup, which was one of the best tag team matches of 2023, but definitely a good matchup on this show. Jay News, what did you think?
So much to what the both of you were saying, I didn't expect them to live up to the last banger that they had here, but it was a decent exchange. I was not expecting ELP and Hikuleo to win this match, to be quite honest. I thought they were going to continue on the Bishamon run, not necessarily knowing as to where the tag team division is right now outside of those 2 tag teams. So I just expected them to retain, but with ELP and Hikuleo being unified champs, I think it's a different it gives them a different feel. Hopefully different things are set out for the future for those guys at the end of the day, and we'll see what teams begin to challenge them. Hopefully they don't enter into some sort of a feud with House of Torture. Yes, I'm going to continue to bring that up.
Well, they're versing the B team of the Bullet Club and Chase Owens and Kenta first.
Oh, they gotta get their feet wet. You know what I'm saying?
That one makes sense because Kenta is one of the people that turned on ELP.
Right.
But the thing is that there was nobody else for Kenta to team with.
It should have been Kenta and Taiji. That made more sense because those are the two that really turned
But
on.
it's the junior
ELP.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't care. It's the never open. It's also the NJPW strong open weight tag
So
team
that
title.
would have made sense actually if they'd have
Yeah.
maybe said, okay, we challenge. You know what? Thinking, Gato, why don't you just do this? Someone just hire the three of us. We will sort everything out for you, Gato. Okay, because Kenta and Taiji Shimori facing, because also ELP for me is still like on that junior cusp. Do you know what I mean? I count him as more like open weight than a full heavyweight.
Sure.
Yeah.
And same with Ishimori. I'd say like he could easily go on the cusp of heavyweight too. So
yeah,
should have had that. Now you got me excited that we should have had that instead. Also, I don't want to see another Kenta match. I mean, it's been months, and I still don't think he's probably have improved that much.
I don't want to see another Chase Owens match, and I've interviewed Chase Owens. I'm cool with Chase. I'm cool with Chase, but I don't need to see him in the tag team title match. But yeah, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship was up for grabs next as Hiromu Takahashi defended against El Desperado, the two rivals going at it here, and this match started off fast as we get a big dive by Desperado onto Hiromu, who had the nice all over the top jacket as always for Wrestle Kingdom. Back in the ring, the two were trading moves until a dropkick sent Desperado from the floor into a barricade. Hiromu, now with the lead, drove Desperado into the corner. Desperado retook the lead using a stretch muffler to focus on Hiromu's leg. Once Hiromu escaped that, Desperado continued the focus on that limb in an attempt to damage the leg further. Desperado leaped towards Hiromu, but Hiromu sidestepped the attack. Hiromu gained some footing, but Desperado caught him in the stretch muffler once again, just really wrenching on that knee. Hiromu powers out into a goddamn destroyer out of nowhere. Hiromu then followed up with a time bomb for a 2 count. He then tried for the time bomb 2, but he failed, forcing Desperado into the corner instead. On the top rope, Hiromu attempted to fling Desperado, but was caught. Desperado, now in control, slammed from the top to the mat. Hiromu tried to power up, but Desperado hammered him down with some strikes to keep him grounded. Hiromu dodged a big punch by Despy and landed a big lariat to regain control, but Desperado fired back, hitting the big punch, then landing the Pinche Loco for a near fall. Desperado attempted the Pinche Loco again, but Hiromu got the unnamed Hiromu roll for a near fall. Desperado kicked out, landed another Pinche Loco. He hits a power driver Pinche Loco, then another Pinche Loco. 1, 2, 3. El Desperado once again becomes the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and more importantly, he is now 2-0 against Hiromu Takahashi in the Tokyo Dome with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship up for grabs. I gave this match 4 stars. These guys have tremendous chemistry together. This was an excellent matchup, a straight up banger here. And then after the match, during the post-match press conference, post-match comments, Desperado was first approached by his former tag team partner in the Super Junior Tag League, Master Wado, who suggested them possibly facing each other for the title. But then it was Uncle Nobu and House of Torture show attacking Despy Wato, laying them out, and Nobu staking his claim for a shot at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Why a House of Torture in everyone's business?
House of Torture was everywhere. J News, what did you think about Hiromu and Despy?
I'm with Valabi. It needed more time. There was something about the first set of matches that was like, why are we getting more time on a 5-hour show? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I was like,
man, you said it cut things short. It still was 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, you're cutting all these other matches short, and we still get a 5-hour show. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyways, that 15, 20 minutes that they give people to rest between the Rambo and everything else should have been added to the rest of the matches on the card. Forget all that crap. At the end of the day, we don't need an intermission. But yeah, no, the match was dope. They have incredible chemistry. It's Despy, it's Hiromu, the best juniors in of their generation right now. So it's like, what? They can't necessarily say anything bad. All I have to say is this: Uncle Nobu going after a championship at the crisp age of 47 to me is something that just I don't even know what to say, because the man can still go. And they
he can still go, but can he still go under the Bullet Club, or will he just bring out Dick Togo show?
I mean, it's House of Torture stuff, Sonal. So we're gonna see the gang mentality. We're gonna see the Satori surprise. I hear you. And I'm with you there, but that's what we're gonna get at the end of the day. And so, this should be a blood feud because Nobu turned on him, but it's not gonna be that. It's just gonna be more clownery, more fuckery, and just more stuff. House of Torture stuff.
House of Torture stuff. Oh joy. So now Hiromu and Despy, what did you think?
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't one of the best out of the matches they've had, and I feel like Genius is right. It could have done with more time. Like Genius was literally right. All the matches were so short, but how was the show still so long?
Yeah.
Like even the main event went like 25 minutes, and I'm thinking, right, as Genius said, could have cut out the gap there. Could have got rid of, Shota Umino match, because Shota's entrance probably took up like half a match. On his motorbike. Like, I can't even doubt, like, Despy and Hiromu were two of the best. They put on an amazing match. I just feel that without the time, and also it was very low on the card. But like,
I understand though. I would say all the matches that came after this were bigger matches. And this honestly, like I said, I gave G.O.D. and Bishamon 3.5 stars. I gave this match 4 stars. This starts a run of every other matchup on this card is 4 stars or more.
Yeah, I just feel like it just, considering I think this might be like the closing chapter, I feel like it just needed more time and a bit more crazy antics.
Yeah.
This was 14 minutes 21 seconds. I would have liked like 18 minutes. 18
minutes. Like certain junior wrestlers, I think 14 minutes would have worked. But Despy is not a very fast, speedy guy. And Hiromu also can work a solo. So, for example, if you had like two of the guys who I don't think they actually have anyone in the junior division at the moment, but a junior who is literally just speed, then that 14 minutes could have worked. But with someone like Despy who works a real power base, ground base, and similar with Hiromu, it needed longer. I think even like 20 would have been fine. But what they got given, not enough. But still, not down it. Still an amazing match. Despy's new ring gear was amazing.
Yeah, you basically really just have to cut the House of Torture matchup to get the time you guys are all looking for, because every other matchup you can't afford to take any time.
You needed it.
Because it either feels like every other match was either cut short on time or had the perfect amount of time. So we shall see. Jay News, you have time for the next matchup?
Yeah, it should be good for the next one.
All right, IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, the inaugural champion, was decided in a 3-way matchup. And can I just emphasize to the both of you, to everyone watching, I love the story of this matchup, because the story of this matchup was laid out in the angle that set this matchup up. This matchup was always supposed to be Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay. It was supposed to be that from the beginning. David Finlay is nothing more than an inconvenience to that happening, and that's how he was treated in this matchup. We get the ceasefire early on where Ospreay and Moxley work together to basically bum rush Finlay. They're beating him down. They set up a table on the outside and they actually drive him through the table so they can deal with each other. And we get some greatness with Ospreay and Moxley going at it. Until, of course, David Finlay reinserts himself into the matchup. He attacks Ospreay. He runs Moxley into a ring post, busting him open. Moxley with a great crimson mask, but Finlay almost fucks all that shit up and nearly pissed me off on the watch along when he wiped off Moxley's great crimson mask. I was like, that is not what you learn in the dojo. What are you doing? Once Ospreay re-entered the matchup, he took out both men. Finley was thrown to the outside and dropped with the tope from Moxley. We get Ospreay then takes out both men again with a dive of his own, a big moonsault dive off the top rope. Back into the ring, we get Moxley. We get Ospreay who leaps towards Moxley, but Moxley catches him with a big forearm, and then he follows up with the Death Rider for a near fall. Moxley then transitions into the Bulldog choke, but once Ospreay was free, Finley hits the ring only to eat a power driver into Ospreay, which I love. Moxley power driving Finley into Ospreay's chest. And then we get Moxley who exits the ring to grab some chairs. He sat up the chairs and then basically does a big X-plex where Finley lands back first onto the edges of the chairs. Finley then hits Ospreay with a big dominator onto Moxley. Finley then hit Ospreay with a backbreaker, but Moxley responds with a kick, with a quick knee. Moxley turns his attention to Ospreay, who he hits another Death Rider. Ospreay ate the move, but Ospreay eats the move, gets up, hits the hidden blade in a callback to his matchup against Shota Umino at Power Struggle. At this point, we get a strike exchange between Moxley and Ospreay, where Finley basically inserts himself, hitting both men who seem more annoyed than wanting to hit him back. Like, you're getting in the way of the actual match. What are you doing here? And then he has to spit at them for them to finally hit him and just pelt him. Then this leads to Gabe Kidd and Alex Coughlin getting out, which kind of dragged this portion of the matchup. And it's probably my only nitpick of the matchup because it wasn't really needed. Although we did get the crazy dive where Moxley and Ospreay takes out both Coughlin and Kidd. They set them up on tables, and Ospreay does a big swanton bomb, and we get the sequel of Kenny Omega bashing Ospreay's head into a table and then sticking his head through the table and saying hello as we get Coughlin's ass through a table, and he just sits there. Great stuff. Great visual there. We get Moxley back into the ring. He hits Finley with the Death Rider. He then goes for the Death Rider on Ospreay, but he reverses and he winds up Moxley winds up eating some hidden blades. One hidden blade, he gets up, but then Ospreay hits him with a running hidden blade. He then picks up Moxley and hits a Stormbreaker, but Finley stops the pin. He hits the Into Oblivion, a curb stomp, and then a new variant of Into the Oblivion, which is basically like a suplex into a go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. David Finley is the new IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. 22 minutes, 17 seconds this match went, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Some of these sequences were breathtaking, were thrilling. Moxley and Ospreay just have amazing chemistry together. We saw it last year at Windy City Riot, but it really got amplified in this matchup, which made the story of the matchup of Finley being an inconvenience and then coming in at the end and kind of sneaking the win, but really doing it in a way that made him look like he won, like he beat both guys instead of sneaking and getting the pinfall like a usual heel was. They did a great job of cementing Finley as a top heel in New Japan with this win. And then he immediately starts a big program as he gets into the face of the former Dolph Ziggler, Nic Nemeth. They get into a brawl with one another where referees and security have to separate the two. David Finley thinks he's going to be perfectly fine just talking at the post media scrum with the media. And then Dolph Ziggler runs up on homie like he's the guy getting charged in the courtroom, jumping at the judge, runs and jumps Finley, beating him down, and then cuts an impassioned promo talking about the importance of championship titles, the importance of the Global Heavyweight Championship, and why he wants to face Finley for that title. J News, lots to unwrap here. What did you think about the three-way matchup, and what did you think about Finley and Nemeth going at it in the post-match?
I thought that the matchup itself was great.
I give it 4 3/4 stars, by the way.
I thought it was a great matchup. It finally gave David Finley credence as a heel to me. This is my personal opinion. They used all the good portions of the match to make sure that he annoyed and yet took advantage when he had to. And him coming out with the win after said one finisher was hit to then hit his finisher on the guy that he can't beat. It makes all the sense in the world. So that made him, to what SP3 said, look like a viable heel here in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I called this 2 months ago or a month and a half ago when this match was announced that he was winning this belt, even though I didn't want him to, right? But at the end of the day, he won. Will's on his way out. Mox is in AEW, so it makes all the sense in the world. David Finlay sticking around in New Japan. Hopefully bigger and better things for him going forward. This global championship is a big deal, I think. So
pretty title, beautiful title.
Beautiful title. And
which is surprising after what they've had in the past.
Yes, very, 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 very good points. Very good point. But Finlay needs to do something with this title and do something with his character now that we haven't seen since he became the leader of the Bullet Club. So that's all I have to say about that fantastic match. Can't wait to see more from Mox and Will Ospreay. And I hold 2024 as a year of growth for David Finlay. So we shall see what will happen.
Hey, they've put him on a big platform, picking up a big win against two of AEW's top stars, two of the best wrestlers in the world, setting up a big matchup with a former WWE champion. That's what I call kind of putting him. This is a better start to the year than he had last year.
Absolutely.
When he was playing cosplay Bullet Club leader. But like I said, 4 3/4 stars. This was a near perfect matchup, in my opinion. Sonal, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the best showing Finlay's had as a Bullet Club leader. Though, when they posted the pictures of Finlay with Dolph, at the end from the side, it did look like Jay White. I'm not going to lie. But, just saying. But, yeah, I feel like this is the first time that we've seen Finlay, like, take on a style of Bullet Club that, like, works. Do you know what I mean? Like, the start was great, how they had Ospreay and Moxley working together against him. I personally didn't mind the Coughlin and Gabe Kidd spot. Like, I thought it worked because obviously it was a no DQ. And I think, like, if you're going to have shenanigans, I'd rather have that than, like, Dick Togo coming out or something like that.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So I with Bullet Club, I always have to say, I look at least it's not House of Torture. But, I think that the Finlay Dolph thing is going to be really interesting because it was like the post-match comments where Dolph was talking about how he'd like sat and spoke with Fit Finlay and they were speaking about Finlay and now he's wrestling. And it's like, I like when stories like that happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just shows that, wrestling is a smaller world than you think. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that, Finlay was probably only dreaming of a wrestling career when Dolph started in WWE.
Right.
Now, fast forward to 2024, and he is facing the son of one of the legends that was in WWE. Do you know what I mean? It's nice. I think you're right. It seems like New Japan are really pushing Finlay and giving him something with having Dolph as his first. Nic Nemeth, sorry. It'll take a while.
It's going to take a while. Don't worry.
Having Nic Nemeth as his first opponent.
Yeah, it's a big deal having Nick as his first opponent. I think it's a big deal that he won a match where he technically beat the best wrestler in the world in Will Ospreay and another one of the best in Jon Moxley. So, it makes all the sense in the world and giving and being able to give Nick that spotlight post match, I thought was a cool thing because automatically now he's important. So, he didn't have to start from the bottom up because that probably would have been a complaint across the internet. That's what happened. So
most definitely.
That's there. And the Bullet Club War Dog spot, I'm with SP3 on this one. I think it wasn't necessary here because they do so much between Gato and the Shillelagh and everything else in between. I didn't feel like the War Dogs were necessary in this match, but Will caving Coughlin into the table was pretty cool.
That was fun. That
screenshot on social media. Then someone put, "I am a table." That alone, you should be happy that happened because that was hilarious.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason that it was forgettable. But like I said, it was a nitpick to the matchup. It stopped them from being a perfect match, in my opinion. But also a nice little little factoid here. Scott E Wrestling from over at Fightful let me know that the last televised championship matchup for Dave Fit Finley was against who? Dolph Ziggler.
I love that. See, that is what I love. That is what I love.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. J News, I know you gotta run. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they will see you again. Maybe they'll see you Monday for our Battle in the Valley preview.
Yeah, that's
or sometime next week for Battle.
Sometime next week. Y'all see me sometime next week. I gotta bounce. But thank you to everybody for always watching and listening and integrating yourselves here at True Heel Heat. Y'all can find me on the internets. I'm on X. That's at John LYFNMG. I am on the Instagrams. You can follow the same handle and stuff like that or whatever. Catching up on my movie pods and things of that nature. So you'll see some new reviews go up this week. Iron Claw and The Boy and the Heron will be coming up this week. So those will be the new podcast there. Just so I can put this here before I leave. Sonal, I read your a couple of your tweets about SANADA and the main event.
I was so emotional.
And I must say, the emotions that come from Sonal are the emotions we wish SANADA had. That is all I have to say about that. That's all I got to say about that.
That was great. That was great.
So, and I love SANADA. I love SANADA. The tears coming from his eyes when he walked away up that rap way, to me was it was everything. And I just think they did a bad job telling the whole selfless story throughout the build. I think that's what it was. Because by the end of the match, we got that. We understood it then. I feel like
it was the fans and like Chris Charlton that was really pushing it. Like I feel like you said, New Japan could have built the narrative, but instead it was up to people like
the commentary
and like people on social media hosting it, which is a shame.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but to before I bounce, I thought the match was good. Main event, that is Naito SANADA. It did what it had to do. Naito finished the story. A+ for me. And the save. The roll call didn't happen, but the SANADA save for Naito meant everything. So that to me was a moment that was necessary and needed. So that was cool. I enjoyed it all. And it was, to me, SANADA's best match as champ. So I think it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, his match.
I like the Suji and
the Suji one
and the Aromo match. The Aromo match is the best one, but the Suji.
I forget about the
I think Suji's better.
I think the Aromo. Go back and watch that Aromo match. That's some of Aromo's best work in 2023. That Aromo matchup, yeah. And the crowd. That was the first sellout that SANADA drew.
But I'll say this: the crowd being able to cheer SANADA's name as loud as they did by the end of that match. I was like, they turned, they got with him. They're with him now. It's like it wasn't all for naught. It did solidify him in the main event spot. Maybe in the future, give it another year. At the end of the day, they don't have to do it immediately, and go from there. But yeah, look, I think Wrestle Kingdom was a dope ass show. At the end of the day, it delivered on all fronts. I myself have to watch New Year's Dash in total. I just caught up with the highlights after I woke up. So that is what that is. Battle
so out of 10, what did you give the show? Since you're going,
a solid 8 for me. A solid 8.
You're underrating the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, you definitely are. You definitely are, because we haven't even talked about the best match on the show, and literally, even without that best match on the show, you got the 3-way matchup, 4 3/4 stars. You just gave a high mark for SANADA and Naito.
Yeah.
I gave the match 4 1/4 stars.
First
Dave
stars.
Meltzer gave that match 4.5 stars.
That's story.
I
Yeah.
would-
You had Despy and Hiromu, ZSJ and Tada,
Suji
Uemura and
and-
Suji, all were 4 stars. You had Tama and Shingo. I gave it 4 1/4. Meltzer gave it 4.5. How do you have that many 4-star matches? It has to be above a 9. It has to be above a 9 when you have that many 4-star matches on a 10-match card.
The
The
reason
only
as to
flaw
why
was that tag match, and that can't have taken up 2 points.
No. For me, it always comes down to the freaking runtime, 1, and then 2. A lot of the matches were shorter than I expected them to be, and it was still a 5-hour show. That's really what did it for me in that particular regard. And then the tag match thing was really dead last. So that it is what it is. I'll hold on to it. Everybody wants to give it a 9. They want to give it a 9.5. Good for you. I give it an 8. All Wrestle Kingdoms are amazing by the end of the day. So what does it matter?
I'm gonna go back and watch what you gave Wrestle Kingdom 17. This show was better than Wrestle Kingdom 17. So if you gave Wrestle Kingdom 17
Brother,
a higher mark than this, I'm gonna be like your
brother.
I
forget more about wrestling nowadays than I can remember. It's real. The content's just too much. So if you go back and watch the tape and my grade for Wrestle Kingdom 17 was higher than 18, so be it, man. I don't remember Wrestle Kingdom 17 at this point. I just don't. I don't recall any of it.
So much wrestling, so much content. So much.
It's a lot to bear. It's a lot to bear. And for your best match of the night thing, I will have some time next time around to talk about that match because I have some things to say about it.
I'll give you a chance to talk about it on the Battle in the Valley preview. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to run, sir. Get the hell up out of here.
Right, see you guys later.
Let's talk about the double main event in a lot of ways that we're going to talk about next. We got a bunch of people in the comments. I want to highlight some comments here. We got Valabi says, for now, Taichi and SANADA tag run, please. You're down with that?
Yes.
I think they should have done that after New Japan Cup. I mean, like that would have made more sense. We got Valabi saying, have Yuya be the single guy in the hunt. I wouldn't mind that.
I'd take that, especially after his performance against Suji.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Chilling with Chase says this show a 9. We also got Big Man Dogs who says it depends on if you grade on a curve or not, because basically all Wrestle Kingdoms are amazing. But like people need to realize like this was one of the best paced and like top to bottom cards that we gotten for Wrestle Kingdom. I would say since the 2-night Wrestle Kingdom in 2020, this is the best Wrestle Kingdom top to bottom, in my opinion, that we've gotten since the pandemic.
And because the worst match was literally like, it was about 6-7 minutes. I can deal with that.
Like there was no we got Jane News complaining about matches getting cut short. There was no matches that got cut short more than Tam Nakano versus Kyrie from last year. I'm still scarred by that.
What was that? That was like
5 minutes.
I remember that.
Yo, there was nothing criminally cut like that on this card.
That was hilarious.
Valerie saying it was a 9. We got a Bantic Girl saying the pay-per-view is a 9 out of 10, and Big Man Dog saying I think it's a 9 to me because it did have some really cool, memorable moments and great matches. Yeah, that's the mark of a great pay-per-view, like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 type of pay-per-view, is that you have to have the mixture of great matches and memorable moments. If you just have memorable moments and some good to bad matches, it's not a very memorable pay-per-view. It's not a high mark pay-per-view. If you just have great matches, it can be a high mark pay-per-view, but I don't think it's going to be the memorable show of the year pay-per-view. This one wasn't, because it had the combination of both.
And I think, and like I was saying, like I could, with certain shows, if you ask me like a day after, like what was every match on the card, I'd have probably missed something. But this one, I could probably still tell you every result and every match that happened. And that's saying something, because like Jane, you said, there is so much wrestling now that it's so easy to forget, but I've not forgotten.
Wow. We got King Potato who says, I also give the show an 8 out of 10 because they had 0 women's matches on the card. That might be a stupider complaint than what Jay New said. Because they've only had 2 Wrestle Kingdoms that had women's matches on it.
Can I just say, so I had this like debate with this person on Twitter like a few weeks ago. I had to like stop because I was getting like angry. And if this person is on this chat, sorry. But they were basically saying how like New Japan had missed the mark and that they'd be more successful if they joined with Stardom in one company. And I was trying to be like, but the but they're not respecting women's wrestling. I'm saying they're respecting women's wrestling by allowing them to have their own company where they can shine. And the person was like, but they're not doing this. People need to stop with this idea that for women's wrestling to be equal, that they need to be on Wrestle Kingdom. They are equal in the sense that they can sell out their own shows. Why have them on a jam-packed Wrestle Kingdom card where, like you're saying, they would get maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, when on their own show, they can get 20, 30, 40 minutes? Like, we need to stop with this Western ideology that for Japanese wrestling to be good, that women need to be on men's card and vice versa. Doesn't need to work. It's why you have New Japan. It's why you have Stardom. It's why you have DDT. Why you have Tokyo Joshi. They can join together sometimes, but they work because they can sell out and they can have their own successful shows. So let's stop with this discourse right now. Let's leave that in 2023, please.
You guys have to realize when you're having a Western thought, you're not even realizing that WWE is making you think like that. Like that, the way WWE has been for years is making you think like that. And you need to get out of that because that's not what New Japan is. Stardom is something completely different. And literally, all everybody has been telling me since January 4th is you need to watch Shuri versus Mayu Iwatani. You need to watch Shuri versus Mayu Iwatani. And I guarantee you, if they were on this card, no one would be saying that.
No, like they can make appearances. Like it's similar with if you watch DDT, sometimes you'll have Tokyo Joshi wrestlers appear. That is fine. But you're almost doing a disservice to Stardom by saying, oh, but Stardom and New Japan should join together. Are you telling me that you don't think that Stardom can do a full show by themselves? Well, no, they can. Yeah, like I said, they had a show on Wrestle Kingdom Day. They have shows all the time and they are very successful. To say, oh, but New Japan having women's matches makes it equal. No, it does the opposite because you are basically saying that Stardom needs New Japan to do well. They don't. They are their own product. They have their own fans. Like
exactly, and it's one company that owns both of them. Bushiroad owns both of them, and they know that the best way to make them equal is to have 2 equal companies. That's what they do.
Same with Cyber Fight and DDT and Tokyo Joshi. In a sense, I guess DDT and Tokyo Joshi are more similar than Stardom and New Japan, where they have good matches, but very light-hearted. But again, they don't need to be together because they have their own fans. They have their own shows that do very well. Like, if you want to see the women's wrestling so much, subscribe to Stardom's.
Yeah, or watch the Stardom show. Like Scott E. Scott E. never got any sleep. I took a nap before Wrestle Kingdom. You know what Scott E. did? He watched Tokyo Joshi Pro show right into the Stardom show because both of them had shows going on right before Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, Wrestle Princess. Always a good show.
We got Stu in the chat who says Stardom had their own show before Wrestle Kingdom 18 with possibly match of the year with Shuri versus Mayu. If that match was on the Wrestle Kingdom card, it would be 8 minutes, and that's being generous.
And it would have been straight after the evil match.
Exactly, where the crowd is dead.
Yeah, it should. Like it was the main event, I assume. Like you would never have got that in the top half of the Wrestle Kingdom show. Like it would have probably been lower than the tag match as well, and the never.
But King Potato, we have seen them perform. You're saying it would be sick to see them perform in the Tokyo Dome. We have done that, so we did it. We're done. We're done. We don't need to see it every year. You didn't put in your comment. It would be sick to see them perform in the Tokyo Dome every year. We already seen Stardom stars perform in the Tokyo Dome. So your statement has already been fulfilled. We don't need to do it every year. So you need to revise your grading for Wrestle Kingdom. Because saying you're giving it an 8 out of 10 because it didn't have a women's match when there is nothing that said it was gonna have a women's match, that is a nonsensical complaint. In my opinion.
it just like, it's not even like I hate to, because I get it, but like at the end of the day, you need to understand that, like, and SPC said this earlier, step out of that Western mentality of what wrestling is. Because come on, we've seen that having women and men on the same show don't work. Like, I've not watched WWE for years, but when I watched it, there was like one women's match compared to the rest men. When I watch AEW, there's like 1.5 maybe women's matches compared to the whole. It never works. But you should be proud that in Japan there are enough female wrestlers with enough talent to have a full, like, I don't know how long the Stardom show was, but I know Wrestle Princess is normally like 3-4 hours, that they can have that on their own. Whereas maybe WrestleMania, I'm using that as another thing, they'll get maybe like 2 matches on it. Why would you ever want that?
Yeah, I just, that's a confusing thing to kind of want from New Japan when you have a Stardom.
Let's leave that in 2023, the idea that New Japan needs women's wrestling, because we don't.
Yeah. Let's leave that idea and realize that idea is a misconception created by Vince McMahon.
But I do agree with the English.
Yeah, that's why I highlighted this comment. This is why I highlighted this comment, because Big Man Dogs is saying the real complaints we got about Stardom. Yeah. They need some damn English commentary. And also another great complaint, Vala B saying Stardom need to stop forcing us to watch them live illegally by selling every pay-per-view as a $40 pay-per-view on an inferior system. They always have problems. Every time I hear somebody got a Stardom pay-per-view, they always had an issue with them. That gives me no type of incentive to get it to buy a Stardom pay-per-view. I'll just watch it illegally.
It's just like, but it's literally just like the New Japan USA shows. Like, don't hate me, New Japan, if you're watching this. I have never bought one of those goddamn shows.
Me either. I'm sorry, New Japan. I already play $8.99 yen every freaking month. Why am I paying extra for this New Japan Strong show, which is not even as good as your Japan show?
I buy your merch, you know, we promote your company. We ain't gonna be paying like, what is it, like £25 for like a show on Fight TV, which always has issues. Sorry, no. We need to put that behind us, you know. New Japan, like, do you know what? We'll put that up for New Japan. Look, New Japan needs to stop forcing us to watch USA, because I assume Battle in the Valley is paid.
Yeah.
I won't be buying it.
We also got here
Versus Ospreay.
I'll just watch the Japanese commentary on World. Yeah. Frantic Rail saying
well,
I don't spend.
Can you?
Huh?
I think that's free, the US shows.
I think they did have one US show where it was just Japanese commentary on New Japan World.
I thought that like it's only like on VOD for Japanese, but only Japanese fans can watch it.
I'm not sure. Otherwise,
because I generally watch Japanese commentary anyway. Like, you know, they have delays on English. I always just watch Japanese.
I guess everybody's on some type of trickery when it comes to New Japan Strong shows and Stardom shows. But let's talk about the semi-main event, because Sonal, this might be one of the greatest matches I've ever watched in my life. Bryan Danielson.
You're gonna hate me though with what I say later, because while I know it's one of the best matches ever. The Nets. You know, I should go with my heart. That's all I'm gonna say when I speak about the next 2 matches. You know, my heart means more than anything. Just keep that in mind.
Okay, Sonal. This match opened up with an opening tie-up. We get a little bit of like a feeling out process where Okada is basically trying to bait Danielson into striking him. Instead, Danielson takes Okada to the mat and he begins going after Okada's arm. He said in the lead up to the matchup, he's going to break Okada's Rainmaker arm so he never delivers a Rainmaker again. It was the Rainmaker that broke his orbital bone, so he was out on a mission. Once they returned to their feet, Okada caught Danielson with a couple of strikes, flooring him. We get Okada landing the big drop kick right to Danielson's eye before landing a big DDT on the floor. Okada attempted the running drop kick, but Danielson catches him with the Psycho knee right into the ribs. Danielson then places Okada against the barricade, then starts slamming his arm into the metal. He then puts his arm into like the doorway of the barricade and then slams it on his Rainmaker arm. Just the offense that Danielson was doing on Okada's arm was just absolutely gruesome. After like about like 10 minutes, I would say like 8-9 minutes of torture Danielson was putting Okada through. Okada finally started making the comeback. He hits a big boot. He then just starts stomping at the eye of Danielson. He rips off the eye patch and starts stomping at the broken orbital bone. Danielson comes back. But Okada surprises Danielson with a scary looking power driver on the apron. We get back in the ring. Okada taunted Danielson with flat foot kicks to the eye patch, to the broken orbital bone. Okada lands a big drop kick from the top rope, which is the move that broke Danielson's arm, but all it does is damage Okada's injured arm in this one. Okada then tries for the Rainmaker, but the injury-induced hesitation gave Danielson the time to duck. Danielson follows up with a kick and his signature elbow strikes. Okada powers up, but Danielson comes back with the Psycho knee, and then he locks on the label lock after a near fall. Danielson transitions the label lock, and then he uses the Rings of Saturn type submission that he tapped Okada with at Forbidden Door. This was absolute pain. Like the pain retched on Okada's face just totally enthralled me. I was totally engrossed in this matchup every step of the way, and the crowd was as well, like getting louder and louder as this match went on with the submissions and their gasps to every strike that Danielson was making to Okada's injured arm. Okada finally escapes, and Danielson starts stomping at his head brutally. Danielson pulls to a standing position where Okada fires back with a sudden Rainmaker, and this Rainmaker basically came out of nowhere, where Okada he hits it with the injured arm, and he just falls down in pain. It was like a Rainmaker, like a shot to just give yourself room because you're getting pelted by gunshots basically. Danielson pulls Okada to the ground, but Okada starts fighting back with strikes on the mat. Once standing up, he tries for another Rainmaker, but Danielson kicks the injured arm. Danielson then hits one Psycho knee, but he doesn't go for the cover, instead opting for another. But Danielson misses that one, which gives Okada the open opportunity. He hits a big German suplex, holds on to the German suplex. Danielson tries to fight away, so Okada lands a big Rainmaker out of nowhere. He collapsed onto Danielson, pinning him. This match went just over 23 minutes, 24 seconds. It was some of the most outstanding and beautiful, violent wrestling you will see out there today. And just a simple story was just so superb in this one. It was eye versus arm. The attacks of Danielson to Okada's arm, Okada coming back, going after the broken orbital bone, and in the end, that Rainmaker just taking Danielson's head off and getting Okada the win while he's still holding on to the injured arm. This was art. Oh my God. I absolutely love this match. This is the front runner. This has set the bar for match of the year, in my opinion. Post-match, both men show respect to one another, raising each other's hands. They bow to each other, kissing the mat. Oh my God. I am a long time Bryan Danielson fan. Bryan Danielson, in my opinion, he's my favorite wrestler of all time, and he is also the best wrestler I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen this man more happier than in this matchup. This man was hugging Red Shoes before the bell even rung. He was so ecstatic, and he had so much fun. And Okada has put on some of the greatest matches of all time. but this might be one of his single greatest performances because the way he sold the arm is some of the best selling he has done in his goddamn career. This was art at its best. You felt the pain of Okada from his facial expressions to the way he was selling the arm to the way Danielson's offense just looked so brutal. I absolutely love this match. There is no less than 5 stars that I can give this one. This is a perfect matchup in the Tokyo Dome. It don't get no better than this. Sonal, what did you think?
Before I talk about my own views, you know I like to bring in my family into this because yesterday, so SP3 wanted me to join the watch along, and I told him I couldn't because I had a full house. So because it's still the holidays. So my sister was the reason I got into WWE. She doesn't watch anymore. She gave up after like a few months. But so she was watching it and she went, "Why is Daniel Bryan on the screen?" And then she got even more confused because my mom loves Okada. She loves Okada. So she turned to my mom and went, "Mom, why are you not cheering for Daniel Bryan? Why are you cheering for the other person?" Obviously knowing it. And I knew it was good. You spoke about that one spot where Bryan had Okada in the hole and like he was going to pass out. My mom looked at me and she was like in and out of the show during the morning and she went, "Okada looks like he's going to pass out." She's like, "I've never seen him look like that." And I was like, that is, like you said, some of the, like Okada always puts on amazing matches. But I don't think I've ever seen a match he's had where I've been like, shit. Are you sure? Are we sure this is professional wrestling? Because he literally looks like he might just pass out any moment. I was like, I've never seen Okada in this position before. And I was like, oh my god, he's got like Okada's not gonna lose again, is he? Can't do this. Like,
it made me legit believe he was gonna lose again.
I was like, Bryan's gonna break something. He's actually gonna break the Rainmaker. Because you're gonna break the Rainmaker. And then obviously Okada won in the end, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But yeah. So as much as I'm gonna say this is the next match, personally, like just for me as a fan, this match, wrestling wise, and just like you said, the sheer joy on Danielson's face, like this is what he's dreamed of. Do you know what I mean? He's done WrestleManias. He's on AEW, but this shows like this is like, and for so many people, so many amazing wrestlers, New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom, the Tokyo Dome is that dream moment that they aspire to. And like to have, like you said, 2 of the best in the world. Can I just say also,
2 of the best ever? These 2 guys.
It's one a piece, right? And I think I saw somebody say this online, or was it something? We don't need a buffer match.
We don't need it. Like, yeah, like I heard someone say that, and I was just like, yeah, honestly, I don't want them to ruin this. I don't want them to ruin this. Like, you would ruin this. Like, we got the first match, which even though Danielson gets his arm broken 10 minutes in, it's still a great matchup. But this was even better. I don't want to ruin it. Just leave it like that.
Don't leave a sour taste. Like, if like anything less than this would be disappointing, and I don't think you can get better than this. Not just because of obviously the wrestling itself, but the stage, the whole atmosphere. Like, sometimes you need to break that. So Despy is fine. The tag team champions, this one, because there was no titles, because it was really just a dream match people wanted. There's no feud or anything. Just leave it as it is. Just leave it at 2. Leave it 1-1. Have 2 of the best wrestlers in the world ever have their one apiece. They don't need no like competition to see who's better, because we know they're just as good. Just leave it there. Just leave it there.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with this being a 2-match series. I'm totally fine with that. And yes, we need to talk about the entrances, because that I think because I did mention that Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he rated this match 5.25 stars, and I think the extra quarter was for the entrances, because the Okada entrance with the jacket, that is one design, and then he flashes light over it, and it turns into a whole new design. Yo, I was like, this motherfucker done had cracking the lights. Like he got changing designs. What are we doing?
What's funny? You're saying this. So I said, obviously, when Shota had his entrance, I was like, yeah, entrance of the night, this is phenomenal. Then obviously Ospreay had his Assassin's Creed one. I was like, yeah, bloody amazing. And then Okada came out like, yeah, Okada, why are you gonna do this? You're basically like, fuck you and your motorbike, fuck you and your Assassin's Creed, bitch. I am the Rainmaker. And I'm like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it, Kazuchika Okada.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then Bryan coming out with the white, with the dragon scales on the jacket and the
Just
tights
worked.
and the boots. Oh my god. Like that's Wrestle Kingdom attire right there. And then they go out and have a perfect matchup. Yeah, like match of the year so far.
And the bit at the end, and the mutual sign of respect. I obviously wasn't here for the first, but like, you know, when like Zack and Tanahashi, like,
Yeah.
Zack, there's something like about seeing wrestlers bow to each other that is just really emotional, because that is such a big thing in Japanese, and I think a lot of Asian cultures general. And to see it between two best, and obviously after Okada's breaking Bryan Danielson's bones, it just, that's why I feel like you don't need another match, because they are at this like mutual respect now.
And yeah, that moment that RPG is talking about here, when he closes his eyes, gets into the corner, and then slowly starts doing the yes chant, and he doesn't do it anymore because he can get a lawsuit from WWE. So when he does it, that means that he got that fucking in him system. He like, fuck it. He was in the Tokyo Dome. He was feeling it. I had goosebumps. My hair is just talking about it. I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
It was literally, it was even like New Year's Dash when the yes chants. It's something sort of, for me, who obviously watched WWE when he was there, it's something like emotionally nostalgic about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, for so many people, that is probably like one of the first wrestlers they watched and who got them into wrestling. And I was just like, and to see that alongside Kazuchika Okada, I was happy. I was bloody happy.
Big Man Dog says yes chance is Bryan's hoking up. It is. It really is. It's like he's powering up right now. Oh man, I could talk about that match all day. I will talk about it tomorrow on the
SP3's love letter to Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. Watch out for that.
Oh man, I might need to do a whole separate video on that matchup. That's
Watch
how much
out
I
for
love
that.
that match. Yes. And then finally, Sonal, the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 18 for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. SANADA defending.
Can I just say something quickly before?
Yeah.
My mum hated me by the end of this match. She, at one point, she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No, I'm just gonna leave that there, just because when we talk about it, you'll understand." Where my mum was basically like, "Sonal, are you okay? You need to calm down." And why, as good as Okada versus Danielson was, why this next match was my match of the night. So just hold that piece of information as we go through this.
So this one started off with Naito kind of gaining control early on the mat. SANADA defending against Tetsuya Naito in this one before sending SANADA to the floor. Tried to send SANADA to the floor, but he reversed things, and then he sent Naito to the floor and did his own version of the Naito taunt, which I thought was very, very fun spot. Back in the ring, Naito began wearing down SANADA's neck with some strikes. He hits a big slam. He was maintaining control, keeping him on the mat, working over the neck. SANADA would fire back, sending him to the floor, hitting a big plancha here. He then fired back with the big TKO, which was the first move that he ever hit when he was in Los Ingobernables de Japón, when he helped Naito win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. He gets a 2 count with that one. After a little bit of work on the neck, SANADA then locked on the skull, and once Naito escaped that one, SANADA attempted the moonsault, but Naito was able to avoid it. A drop kick from Naito sent SANADA to the ground, leaving Naito free to focus on the neck once more. A neck breaker from the barricade to the floor left SANADA outside high into the referee's count before breaking it. Naito dropped SANADA's neck into his knee, and then he followed up, putting him on the top rope and hitting a big Frankensteiner, which looked very pretty. SANADA reversed Naito's tornado DDT into the magic screw. That was a good near fall as well. He followed up with a poison Rana and a shining wizard before attempting another moonsault. This time, Naito stuck out his knees to block the finish. One standing, Naito landed a barrage of strikes to the neck. Those elbows to the neck are just vicious. Naito followed up with the Espinaza and then a Destino. Naito, knowing one Destino wouldn't be enough, he tried for another, but SANADA reversed that into another TKO. SANADA tried for the moonsault once again. He overshot it a hair, but hit it and got a near fall. SANADA tried again, but Naito was able to kick out. Naito then interrupted SANADA's follow-up with a big old spine buster. SANADA tried to hoist Naito up again, but he dropped him. Naito hits Destino once again, but again, he was forced to try for another, and this time SANADA slipped free, making the move partially land, actually, by like accident. That was a weird little mistiming botch there. After SANADA kicked out of that one, he hit Naito with a sudden deadfall, forcing a match reset. Then SANADA hit the Destino. I was like, whoa, okay. Then he picked up Naito. He tried to go for the deadfall, but Naito hit deadfall instead. Naito then lands a big tornado DDT. SANADA fires back briefly, but cannot hold on to the lead. Naito hits the deadfall once again. He looks like he's going for the Destino as he sets it up. He wrenches the arm, hits the Destino. The crowd at this point is on their feet, begging Naito to put this one away. Destino, 1, 2, 3. Tetsuya Naito becomes the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in the main event of the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom 18. This match went 25 minutes, 42 seconds. An excellent match between these two men. Like I said, there was like some mistiming on certain spots. I gave the match 4.25 stars, though. Just an excellent affair. These two guys have great chemistry with one another, but I think this was their best match. Despite the mistiming spot, I thought this was their best match because the crowd were just so invested into every single move, every single ebb and flow, twist and turn in this matchup. After the match, Naito grabs the microphone, and just as he's getting going and speaking about his win, Evil and Dick Togo come and attack Naito.
Dick Togo! It's always fucking Dick Togo.
Evil tells Naito that he wouldn't have let him have his roll call. He props him up. Dick Togo holds him up for Evil to hit him with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. From out of nowhere, SANADA makes the save, dropping Evil with the Shining Wizard, taking out Dick Togo. Once the ring is cleared, Naito thanks SANADA and says that he was a great champion. The crowd starts chanting, SANADA, SANADA, SANADA. SANADA starts crying as he's walking up the ramp. Oh my God, what an emotional moment. Blood pouring from his head. He thanked the fans for their support. And then finally, Tetsuya Naito got his LIJ roll call. Bushi, Takagi, Tita, Hiromu, Tita, Yota, Naito, Los Ingobernables de Japón. Finally, he did it. The goal is complete.
By himself, though.
Naito's story is finished. Like I said, I love the main event matchup, but Sonal, I feel like you loved it even more. What did you think about this main event? What did you think about the post-match with Evil, Dick Togo, and SANADA?
Right, so first off, you mentioned the little botchy thing here. You know what? I don't understand. So I've been on Reddit. I live on Reddit, right? And someone decided to say, oh, there was like 2 botches in the thing. Naito's finished. What logic are you gonna say? Because there was 2 issues in a very good match that Naito needs to retire. I'm gonna put this out there. None of you are doctors. You gonna tell me that Naito's on the same edge of bloody Tanahashi? Or, I mean, for people who watched it, Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, they were
on his Noah show.
Ooh.
Naito is nowhere near finishing. Yes, he's probably not got 10 years in him. He has said that. But But to say that this main event was not good, or the two little missteps that were in there, which were equally would have been Sanada's fault as well, because you're not going to say Sanada's ready to retire. That means this is his last Wrestle Kingdom. Just going to put that out there. Secondly, this match was beautiful. So whereas I said, I said the Okada Danielson one was pure phenomenal wrestling. It was the storytelling that got to me from the beginning, when you could hear the 95% Naito chants and Sanada was like going like this, obviously knowing he wasn't getting it. And Naito was obviously, he knew the crowds were for him. Yeah. So he was being cocky at the start. And I could see the fire in Sanada slowly come out. This fire that we've said he's not had. And like he was slowly coming out. You could see it with him trying the other moves. Similarly with Naito. And it's two men who know each other so well. Like, although they didn't really, like, they weren't the closest, because we say, like, LIJ, while they're close, it's not maybe, like, personal close. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a very different bond to maybe the guys.
There's people in the group that are close, like Hiromu and Naito. But,
yeah.
Like, the group overall is not like United Empire or TMDK. Exactly. Even House of Torture, for everything we say bad about them, they feel like a family.
And just five guys. Five guys. And also, as much as I think, and people say, Chaos are. Yeah. I think Chaos are actually closer.
Not all the time. Not all the time.
But yeah, so like that for me, like I felt emotional. I tweeted this like by the end of it, because I think I got to like when Chris Charlton was doing his bit before the match started, I thought, fuck it, Sanada's winning. They are really pushing this whole like thing, and I was like, right, I don't care. Like, I will be happy if Sanada wins, and like it could happen. And so as it got further on, and we were seeing a failed Destino and stuff, I was like, this could happen. And what I want to say is, so there was that slightly shitty Destino. What I liked is that they didn't end it there. So on the Zack and Tanner match, that last roll up before the pin was a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I am very glad that they didn't end it on that Destino. But that, like, I also don't think that something like that says that Naito is any lesser of a wrestler, because like, I saw one funny person saying, well, if botches mean they should retire, then shouldn't most of the AEW roster retire?
And you see a lot more botches on NXT. That's the funny part.
Exactly. Well, for me, I personally like that you could even twist it in a way that these two are so passionate about what they're Hontai, but Hontai is very big. Like, I think it depends on what you're doing. Like GBH are close and stuff. Sorry, that's off the topic. But you could say that the passion to do so well is gonna lead to missteps. Like, do you know what I mean? In terms of the ending, while I guess you could have done without Evil and it could have been, I think something like that was needed to make Sanada like get the chance. Like, that almost feel like the crowning glory to his title reign, even though he didn't have the title holding it. And theoretically, and I hate to say it, like, it makes the most sense. Evil was Sanada's ex-partner. In LIJ, the storytelling comes all the way around. And I saw a comment earlier that for everyone going into this, while you might not have been excited due to Sanada's lackluster reign, you can't say that this match had no history or no story, albeit the storyline was not built within the past 2 months or since the G1. No. But as expected with a lot of New Japan, you need to delve further. New Japan did a perfect YouTube video where they went from, showing the audition that both of them did when Sanada was 17 and Naito was 23. And that Naito passed, and then obviously Sanada's journey to New Japan, and it's sort of things like that of like, and then you combine that with obviously Naito being like, Sanada, you're not a proper champion, you've not got the factor, basically drawing on what all the public are saying. Do you know what I mean? And if you think about it, that to have someone who is so intertwined with Naito's history to be the person that he gets his crowning glory and the thing he wanted, like, that's why this match for me, like, personally as a Naito and Sanada fan, meant the most. And especially when like Sanada went crying, it's true. After all these years of being known as like Tranquilo when he was in LIJ, emotionless as the cold skull.
Cold Skull, yeah.
No charisma or nothing that stands out in Just Five Guys. We have seen now a new side to SANADA, and even in New Year's Dash, the way that he sort of stood up to Naito and doing it. Could this be like the little twist that SANADA needs to be like, I need to do something now. You're going to tell me that I'm the champion, and there was hardly anyone on my side until I saved Naito.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I would like some aggressive and change. I'm not gonna hold my breath because I thought I was gonna have that change in the New Japan Cup, and then we got the same old SANADA. So we shall wait and see. But this was great. This was a great, memorable moment. I love the fact that they got SANADA involved. They got all the members of LIJ in some way, whether they were a part of the roll call or whether they were former members, they were involved in this angle. This was a great way to close out the show and actually made it worthy. Everything included, the match and then the post-match, made it worthy of being in that main event spot, even over what I thought was the better match of Okada versus
Can
Danielson.
I ask, so you've watched more Wrestle Kingdoms than me. What, for me, the reaction that Naito and SANADA match got, so the chants and stuff, I don't know if I've heard something like that before. Like the chants for
Naito and Okada from 2018.
Right. Okay. So then,
Yeah, that was the last time that it was like this, and that's why everybody was pissed when he lost. When he lost.
So since 2018, because the reason that was my first Wrestle Kingdom, so I wasn't that aware of it. But since I've started watching New Japan, this was probably the hottest and the most passionate crowd like I'd seen from like when Naito came out and all the light sticks turned red to the cheers. And like I said it on my YouTube channel, I was like, if anyone knows Korean band BTS, it felt like that was who Naito was. That reaction that he got was like, I said this home, I was like, this is why because Japanese fans are normally quite reserved. Yeah. So, for them to give that reaction, Naito means so much to them. And that's why I think I got emotional as well, because I was like, you know what? These crowds have an emotional investment in this story and in Tetsuya Naito.
I said it on the Fightful review after the show, and I'll say it here. Naito's connection with this New Japan fans in Japan is unlike anything we have seen. The only thing comparable to it is the Von Erichs back in the 80s in Texas. That's how beloved the Von Erichs was, and you kind of get a picture of that by watching the Iron Claw movie. But like it almost feels like it's on that level or even more with Naito and the New Japan fans in Japan. They just adore this man. He is a national hero, and they live and die off of the results of his matches, especially when he's vying for the top prize in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. That loud reaction we saw in 2018 when him and Okada, the loud reaction we got in 2020 when he became the double champion, and then here in this matchup, these are like some of the loudest reactions you will ever hear for a Wrestle Kingdom main event.
And I think the thing with Naito is like, yes, his wrestling style is great, but it's Naito as a person. As someone, I've met Naito twice now, and you always have this, like, they always say don't meet your idols, because especially in wrestling, because on TV you see a character and you almost get worried. You're like, were they going to be the same people? And especially when you're like, you speak English and they speak Japanese. But Naito, and I think I'm going to say for most of the wrestlers, the New Japan ones, they are legitimately very nice, kind, enthusiastic. Like when I was watching other people on the Naito meet and greet, he was so enthusiastic. He was so excited. And that radiates, like Naito's love of pro wrestling and just generally the love of the fans is projected in everything he does. And that's why fans love him even more.
That is very true. He's very endearing to the fans, regardless of what his persona is of being nonchalant and not giving a damn. He's very endearing to his fan base, and that's why he's as popular as he is, and arguably might go down as one of, if not the most popular, probably outside of like Hiroshi Tanahashi in New Japan history.
But I think with Naito, I think his fans are more passionate than Tanahashi. Tanahashi gets love, but just something about Naito fans.
Because it feels like they have always had an obstacle to overcome. Because he wins the Tokyo Dome main event, he gets voted out of it. He gets sent to Mexico, kind of sent on an excursion, a second excursion after he already went on an excursion, and goes to Mexico and reforms himself. And then he became this anti-hero. In a lot of ways, Naito and the story of him being this popular anti-hero is in a lot of ways New Japan's answer to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin was a veteran who had a lot of obstacles that he had to overcome. But once he hit and connected with the WWF fans, he became the biggest star of all time. And Naito, I don't think he's that for New Japan, but he may be the most popular star in New Japan Pro Wrestling history.
Yeah, because I think it's similar. It's similar to the Empire. So when the Empire first created, they were meant to be heels. But naturally, the Japanese fans fell for them and they became tweeners. And I think that's the thing with Naito, is that almost like he can do no wrong.
It is like that. It is like that with Naito. He can do no wrong. So, but let us know, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time for us to wrap things up. Last call for super chat donations, guys. We always appreciate that. It helps us out so much. So if you're feeling generous, you could give a little bit back. We would appreciate that as we get the last call there. And last call for final comments. We want to know your match of the night, MVP, LVP. What did you give the show out of 10? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle for the entire show. For me and Sonal, we'll put our thumbs in the middle for NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 18 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board. 4 thumbs up, even a thumb, 2 thumbs for J News. Out of 10, what did you give the show, Sonal?
9.5.
We are on the same page. I think that's why we both responded to J News 8?
Yeah.
The fuck? Did you just watch Elimination Chamber 2023 or did you watch Wrestle Kingdom?
Only flaw was that tag match, and it's like I said before, it's not long enough or significant enough to make up any. Do you know what I mean? If that was a title match, I might have lowered it, but it literally wasn't. And I got to see.
And if it didn't have a point, at least it had a point to it.
And I got to see Shota Umino come out on a motorbike, so can't come. Oh, and Kaito Kiyomiya was there with Oiwa, so I got to see them at some point. It's fine. They also didn't overrun the match. They didn't go here's 15 minutes. They could have, but they didn't.
He's not Bryan, because Bryan had the obstacles because of his size and because of his look. The reason why he's Austin is because a lot of it came down to he didn't have the right personality that connected with the fans yet. He had injuries, the series of neck injury. He is Austin to a T. He's
also
Austin.
Naito got pushed quite quickly. So he was obviously given the title, the heavyweight title, but no one gave a shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Bryan had the obstacles because, like you said, his size, and he was pushed to the point and nobody liked him. Everyone was always rooting for him, but the hardships came from the top.
Yeah. And also Steve Austin got a little bit of a push in WCW, and it just didn't connect there. And then he had to find something. That's why Naito is awesome.
And what other I don't even know if it's actually happened before, where 2 excursions and one where, because bear in mind, Naito's excursion came after he'd won the tag titles, after he'd won the big title. Why? It would be an embarrassment to go on an excursion again. Something that is, especially in Japan, is known for the young lions.
Yeah.
So the underdog thing wasn't a thing. It was just nobody cared about Naito.
Yeah. That's why I don't think that Bryan is a good comparison to him, because two different things as far as like obstacles and being an underdog.
I mean, he's just loved. He's loved in a similar way, like the fans and stuff. But just
Yeah.
the story is completely different.
We got Stu, who gives it a strong 9 out of 10. MVP SANADA for saving the day and taking out Evil. We
Yeah.
also got Frantic World. This is MVP Will, Mox, Okada, Bryan, and Naito. You can't split an MVP 5 ways. Pick one.
Yeah, it didn't work that way. Didn't work that way.
Match of the night, Sonal. Who you got?
Like I said, I did tease this. It's Naito versus Sanada. That is a personal one for me, just because of how much I love Sanada and Naito, and I am a massive fan of long storytelling, and the fact that this dates back to their first tryouts, just hit somewhere different. And yeah, it's the reaction from the crowds as well. Like, just for me, that everything came into place, and all of the haters that were going into it, like they don't deserve the main event, they don't deserve it. Like, this was like, I think, a middle finger to them.
Vindication for Sonal and for Naito and Sanada. But my match of the night is the first 5-star matchup of 2024 for me is Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson. I love this match so much. I probably will watch it after we're done with this review, because I need to watch it again, because I've been talking about it and it's been getting me excited to watch it again.
Like, and I don't even doubt that. It's just like I said, it's just I've always gone with my heart. Like, I mean, we know this from like whenever I make predictions or anything. So like that's why. But yeah, wrestling wise, Okada versus Bryan was just phenomenal. But for me, like, I love wrestling because I like the story as well. So
hey, I love the story of that match too. The story, the action, it had everything. I loved it. Who was your MVP for the show, Sonal?
because I could go really like standard, but I'm gonna break it just because also I didn't have a chance to talk about it. It's two, Suji and Uemura. It's an odd one, but the reason why is they were no title match. They were thrust in between like a really shit match and then title matches, and it's their debut. It's their Wrestle Kingdom debut. And God, you know what? I loved scrolling on social media and people saying, who are these two guys? I'm a fan now. And it just made me so proud. Like, I remember when they first made their debut in their black trunks. I watched Suji here in the UK live. And to see where they are now, like, it's a big ask of, you know, your debut having like a singles match. And the fact that they both managed to do it to a very high level, like, yes, that's why.
Nah, that's a very good answer. I am going to go with Tetsuya Naito and Sanada. I'm going to go with co-MVP for those two guys because they had a lofty challenge ahead of them following all of this show, but in particular the last two matches where you had a spectacular 3-way matchup for the global heavyweight championship. You get the nice post-match brawl with a former WWE champion in Dolph Ziggler, aka Nic Nemeth. Then you get a 5-star matchup with Kazuchika Okada and Bryan Danielson, two of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and still they had the crowd on the edge of their seat into every single move, every single twist and turn. So they deserve the MVP of the show.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because if you think about it, so the triple threat, Ospreay, one of the biggest in the world, Jon Moxley, and then obviously Dolph Ziggler, and then Bryan Danielson. You have global stars there. And then, like, God bless, like, Naito and Sanada, obviously huge in Japan. But like, it's a big feat to do, and they held their own. They went, okay, this match so the global match has given you like danger and drama and stuff. Bryan versus Okada has given like amazing technical wrestling. We're gonna combine all of that. We're gonna put emotion. We're gonna do story. We're gonna do wrestling. We're gonna showcase. We're gonna remind you that there is a story to us that you should be taking notice of. Yeah. And they proved that that deserved to be the main event.
And literally, I like last year, I thought the Jay White versus Kazuchika Okada matchup was great. but it didn't feel like they got the crowd up to the level that Omega and Ospreay did just the match prior. This match was able to do that, even though it wasn't as great of a match as Okada and Bryan. So that's why I think that's why they deserve the MVP most of all.
Also, Sanada cried. We never seen that.
Never seen that. Sonal cried. MVP. The main event, we got Dustin in the chat who says the main event felt very well paced, and UT felt the fit the characters and the story.
Yeah, no, literally, like it's something from like their entrances. So, Sanada came out in the red gear, but then Naito had his red like gear as well, and it felt like, and at the ending bit. So I want to bring this. So for most people, when they betray their faction, it's very toxic. What Sanada did proved that his leaving LIJ, that there was still a connection there, because he said when he left, he went, "This is nothing personal. This is, I am not growing in LIJ."
Yeah.
And I almost feel that people forget, like, he was in LIJ for so long.
7 years.
And that was where he made his name. That's as soon as he was in New Japan, he was in LIJ. And that cannot go away. Although Sanada never really showcased a close bond to the members, like we pointed out, like Naito and Hiromu does, like the older brother and younger brother thing. That would still be there. And it was that also small storytelling of, I was like, oh yeah, Sanada didn't leave LIJ in cold blood. He just found somewhere new, and he still has that respect for Naito, who brought him into the company that he failed to get into all those years ago.
Exactly. Got that love for each other. And then finally, LVP. Oh, this is easy. House of Torture.
We can't specify which one.
Yeah, just House of Torture.
This one. Can I also give a special shout out to Yo's blue tracksuit in the Rambo?
As an LVP?
No, that's a special shout out, because I saw someone on social media, like, can someone tell me what's wrong with Yo? Why is he coming out like a crazy man? And I'm saying, but that's who Yo is.
And I was like, he's little Taguchi.
He never fails to surprise me, and he was like, I'm only in the Rambo. I am gonna make a point. I am gonna shine. I'm gonna come out in a blue tracksuit, lose my shoes, lose my socks, and still make it to the final.
Hey, he made it to the finals. That's all he made. That's all that mattered. All that mattered, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, we have made it to the end of our Wrestle Kingdom 18 review. We did talk about some of the bigger news and notes from New Year's Dash. Did you want to
really much of a show, though, was it?
It was a noteworthy show as far as like the two big matches that they made for Battle in the Valley with Ospreay versus Okada in the main event. Also,
we saw Tanahashi's ass.
Yes, we did. I wanted to forget that, but thanks for reminding me. Shingo Takagi challenging Jon Moxley to a no DQ matchup. You got February 11th is going to be Will Ospreay's last match in New Japan, and it's going to be a 5-on-5 steel cage match with the United Empire.
First time in 20 years.
War Dogs.
First time in 20 years. I am really excited. There's going to be blood. There is going to be tables. There's going to be chairs. There's going to be ladders. And you know what the good thing is? And I'll bring this. So normally in these matches, like, it can become gimmicky, but I think the wrestlers in it are good enough to make it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if House of Torture was in it, it'd be shit.
Yes.
But because we have got 10 amazing wrestlers, I'm excited.
I can't wait for that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. They also had Matt Riddle make his debut of sorts with a vignette, a video where he challenged Hiroshi Tanahashi for the NJPW World Television Championship. And I already see the look on your face. I called it polarizing decision at best. What do you feel about it?
Tanahashi's like, I don't know who this guy is. That was the funniest thing. Like, if it was a flipping a work or something. Also, I think they're saying about like Tana booking this. I feel like this might have probably been done before. I feel like this could have been something done before Tana.
I can see that.
Became Mr. President. Like, this is not something that just happens overnight. I feel like this is just going to be like a US show thing. The jokes about him in Japan and the drug. They speak for themselves. I personally don't have any excitement really for it. I think I'd stopped watching WWE by the time he'd come. it'll only be like a 10-minute match, so can't complain. Oh, I think SP3 has vanished. This is definitely something new. Yeah. Oh, it's SP3.
I don't know why this is like the second time this week it just knocked me out for no reason, out of nowhere. Thankfully, I'm doing shows with other people.
I was like, were you that interested in my talk about Matt Riddle that you enlarged me on the screen? And then I was like, wait, no, he's actually not there. I was like, oh, I don't know what you want from me.
King Potato's like, it's your stream now, Sonal.
I took over for approximately like 15 seconds to speak about Matt Riddle. Well, I couldn't have been at any other time. I would have taken the floor if it was about SANADA, but you left it on talking about Matt Riddle.
Look, you hanging on Matt Riddle. Sorry. Well, we've made it to the end of our review here. I want to thank Sonal, thank J News for joining me. We had a great time reviewing Wrestle Kingdom 17, and I think we have an even better time reviewing Wrestle Kingdom 18, despite J News leaving us before the final two matches. I had Sonal here to talk all about it. So I'm going to give you now the spotlight. This time I am going to be right here. Trust me. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to try not to go anywhere. But Sonal, the spotlight is yours. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media, your YouTube channel, Ace Techers. You're doing a lot of stuff. Let the people know.
So, as always, you can find me on Sonal's Life on YouTube. I put out my review yesterday for Wrestle Kingdom, 5 hours after the show, and that's what you'll get from me if you subscribe. When there are big shows, I try to get reviews out straight away. I do previews, I do listicles. I had my interview with ELP and Hikaleo, so watch out for that. You can obviously find everything that I'm doing on Twitter at wrestling_chat. And of course, if you love hearing about New Japan and you want a monthly podcast, you can join me, SP3 and NK on Wrestle in Ace Techers.
Absolutely. A new one's going to be dropping next week. We're going to be talking about Wrestle Kingdom 18, some more in-depth conversation about New Year's Dash, and we're going to be previewing Battle in the Valley. So go over to wrestling.com, check out Ace Techers with me and Sonal and NK, and check out all the great content we got across the YouTube channel here. We have an exclusive interview with NJPW lead English commentator Walker Stewart, talking about how he got into New Japan Pro Wrestling, got his start. This man's only 21 years old. He is the future.
Stresses me out. I feel old.
Future of wrestling commentating. We learn from him. We talk about what he learned from Kevin Kelly and much more. So go over and check that out. Also dropping later today, 7 p.m. Eastern time to be exact, we have our True Heel Heats best major shows of 2023 list, talking about all the best major shows from the 12 months prior in 2023. That's going to be dropping today, and our final list videos for the year-end list are dropping over the weekend, as well as tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time. It's a True Heel Heat flagship podcast, True Heel Heat 258, with our 7th annual True Heel Heat year-end awards. You can vote on that right now over at patreon.com/True Heel Heat, as well as they have the post on our community wall. We'll have a tweet later today. I need to send it to Sonal and all the rest of the True Heels for them to vote for tomorrow as well. So check that out. And we'll have special guests, Sat E. Nyangi, as well as Alex McCarthy and Jeremy Lambert, talking about this crazy first week of 2024 in professional wrestling. But join us all for that. Me and Sonal. Sonal, will you join us for a Battle in the Valley preview next week?
When is it?
I don't know. J News sound like he didn't want to do Monday, so I
can't do.
We'll figure it out. Okay, so we're perfect. It won't be on Monday, y'all. It'll be another day. But hopefully we'll see Sonal for that, or we'll see her for the review. You'll see me on the True Heel Heat flagship podcast, and tonight for the best major shows list. So for Sonal, for J News, it is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. This has been our NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 18 review. We are signing off until next time. Later, y'all.